can move this so I'm not
Look at me. I was muted. So let's try again. Hello, everyone. How are you doing? I am discombobulated all the way. Oh, I am, and that's okay.
Okay.
No. And I don't know why I do know why guest one was on mute. But anyhow, yeah. So sorry, you guys, I don't hear. We'll go back. I know there's been a big hurricane is what I was talking about. And Helene, and we have a friend named Helene who runs the Triangle Vegfest. And she was like, now everyone will say my name correctly.
Right.
So, hello from Germany, Dublin.
Nice.
Dublin from Germany is really what it says.
You grew.
I grew?
Your community grew. You have Dublin and Germany.
Oh, yeah. I have
That's
more.
crazy.
Yeah, I have some people in Australia and Denmark, Italy sometimes. And Rami says some property damage, but at least everyone's safe. I don't see all of the early comments about the hurricane, so hopefully you guys are safe. Joanne had said earlier she wanted to stay and watch, but no electricity since yesterday, so she's going to watch the replay, which is very sweet, and I hope you're doing okay. Joanne, it's so good that you moved probably from Sarasota, because it seems like Sarasota got hit pretty bad.
Sarasota's nice. I like Sarasota.
Yeah. I remember she wanted to get out of Florida,
yeah.
So she's in Georgia, and we're going to be coming down in December, so hopefully we can visit then. All right. So Kitty Mommy was, I think, asking me how am I. We're doing good. There was like a tornado watch, right?
Yeah.
No, a tornado warning. I get them confused. To me, watch means see, so I always think when it's a watch, they saw it. When it's a warning, they saw it.
I don't know. My phone was just buzzing a ton, and I was ignoring it and continued working right by the window until Kathy was like, do you want to cancel? And I'm like, no, why? It's just raining.
And I'm like, oh no, there's a tornado. And so the thing is if we have another, whatever it is, they see the tornado, we can't be upstairs. So we'll end the broadcast. But right now it looks like it's passed, but it's been raining hard. There's some flooding, but it's not crazy. You drove over. I would never do that. Just know.
There's no rain. I drove over. There's no rain at all in East. I was okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I love all of y'all, but if it rains, there's a good chance I'll cancel on you.
Oh, okay.
Oh, yeah. I like to be in my house when it rains. I'm not scared to go outside, but even just a normal rain. But yeah, I'm like, it's happy. Yeah, it's happy in the house.
Sit on the window with a book.
Right. And we don't have an attic. So when it was raining so hard, you wouldn't have been able to hear us.
Oh.
Yeah, that's another thing that happens because we don't have that's the roof.
That is the roof.
There's no in between it.
Right.
And so Kitty Mommy says she's doing good. Let's see what else is going on here. Vacationing in France. Excellent.
I was just in Paris.
Oh, you guys.
There was no vegan food there.
Really?
I mean, in grocery stores there was, but in restaurants, if you go into a normal restaurant, not a vegan restaurant, but any other restaurant, they don't have vegan options. They don't have the milks or anything and the cheeses, and they're just, Europeans are freaking obsessed with their dairy industry, so it's really sad. They look at you like, huh? And especially, you can go to an Asian restaurant and get a poke bowl, but then they're like, chicken? And you're like, no meat, no animal products, no cheese, no fish sauce. And they're like, duck? Pig? And I'm like, they don't speak French or English. Looks like they, speak, I don't know, whatever restaurant that is, Chinese or... And I'm like, damn.
Well, I've heard some people have gone to France. And also, we didn't really introduce you. So this is my friend, Katcha Gorbacheva. Right? Did I say it right that time? Yay, me! I've known you long enough to say your name properly. I mispronounce all the English words too, so I'm an equal opportunity mispronouncer. Some of you guys have, what are you talking? Okay, we're gonna have to block someone, I think. So tell us about yourself.
Myself. Okay, I've been on this podcast, I think, 3 times already.
3 times.
Yeah, I am a powerlifter. I've been vegan for like 8 years, and I enjoy competitive sports. I enjoy strength training and training older women how to stay fit and not have their back and knees hurt. I do train competitive athletes too, but the majority of my clients are female, vegan, older. Young folks can just go to the gym and do their Zumba stuff, but folks like my mom, they need like more tailoring to not get hurt, and they need more specific like PT and then specific strength training.
But basically, you're just kind of a super cool, awesome athlete, though.
Well, thanks. I'm an athlete for me, and so people look at me and they know what I'm doing, so they know I'm legit. But I don't train as many competitive athletes. Unfortunately, I do train competitive vegan athletes if I can find some, but there's not a lot, right?
But you are one because you're competing. So I think, and that's what I want you to tell people about a little bit too.
Sure. I used to bodybuild. I have 7 awards in natural bodybuilding. I now powerlift. I do not know how many awards I have in powerlifting because I stopped counting. Probably like maybe 10, 15. I usually, if I compete locally, like I usually win. I just won North Carolina States Championship this April? Yes, April. Yeah, it was in the spring. Yeah, so I was best lifter there, strongest female with 1,025 pounds total.
Someone's saying they're not hearing you as well. So let's see, oh, there you go. Try now.
I guess I can just repeat everything I said.
You don't have to repeat everything. Maybe start talking about, so Katcha's mic was not on. We thought it was on.
I'm sorry, y'all.
So just start introducing yourself. Talk about not only what you do again, maybe, but also about the powerlifting and the team and the stuff coming up in the competition.
Oh gosh, that's a lot. That's like a really lot of questions in one. Okay, great. So my name is Katya Gorbacheva. I have been vegan for about 8 years. I compete in powerlifting, which is squat, bench, and deadlift. I do train, I try to train vegans if I can competitively to also compete, or I try to train just older folks to know how to use their body weight safely, know how to lift weights if they want to, and hurt less in their back and their knees through strength training. And lose weight sometimes. Everybody wants to lose weight for some reason still.
And they were saying it's clearer now, but they could hear you before.
Oh, great. Okay, sweet.
So I'm seeing that.
Now it's clear. Okay. Yeah, but myself, I've been competing in bodybuilding first and then in powerlifting, because for bodybuilding, you need to really diet a lot to get shredded, to people like say big, to be big, but you're not, you're actually smaller. Your muscle definition just shows more because you have less of a fat blanket over your muscle. So for that, you need to diet a lot, and I hate dieting. I like eating. So I eat a lot now, and I lift a lot of weights. We are actually going to compete at Mr. America with Vegan Strong Plant Built team.
So tell me, what is Vegan Strong Plant Built team?
Yeah, Vegan Strong Plant Built team is the biggest vegan team, competitive vegan team in the world.
Oh, it's not just here. Are people from everywhere?
It's an interdisciplinary team of athletes. Yeah, we have people coming from Norway, from France, from Canada, from Australia, from, I don't remember where in South America, but we have a South American athlete. We have a Latina athlete who I think has moved here. Anyways, I'm from Russia, so yeah, it's crazy, and we're going to be competing in bodybuilding, powerlifting. The CrossFit team unfortunately had to compete separately because Mr. America did not offer CrossFit competition at their event this time. But it's like a multidisciplinary, kind of like Arnold Sports Festival. It's a sports festival, right? The difference between Mr. America and Arnold Sports Festivals is that Mr. America is all tested and natural. Every single sport gets tested there.
And explain what you mean by being tested.
Urine testing, making sure you're not on steroids or performance-enhancing drugs. Not on SARMs, not on HRT, not on anything. They urine test.
Okay. So kind of like the Olympics might or something.
I do not know how they test in the Olympics, so I'm not going to talk about that.
Okay, so that's what I would. That's the only thing I know about that.
I think they do test for doping in the Olympics.
Okay, yeah.
But I don't know how.
Yeah, that's close enough. I don't need to know the details, but it's kind of, in my I don't watch sports mind. I get it. Oh, okay. So
Yeah, exactly. So we have strongmen, bodybuilders, Olympic weightlifters, kettlebell sport, CrossFitters, powerlifters.
Which Katcha is.
Yay! Who else? Yeah, but you can go on the website and just check out Plant Built Team. I think it's
Ashley
plantbuilt.com.
Kitchens is
Ashley Kitchens
right?
is on my team. She just competed in CrossFit, and you can actually see how she did because they went to Florida to Tempe Fit Fest.
Oh, wow. Oh, cool. So Ashley Kitchens was on a really, really long time ago, like a few years ago.
Yeah.
She's a dietitian,
Yes.
but she also lives in Durham, where I live. And Katcha, before she went back to Russia, was living down pretty close to me. Actually, you were in Durham before you left, and now you're in Hillsborough, which is just right
I'm
close.
Still 15 minutes away. Yeah,
Right.
and Ashley is in Durham. Yeah, we hung out. She was fun.
So yeah, and it's kind of cool. And actually, Ashley and I have been the judge of the Triangle Vegfest mac and cheese contest for like 5 years or something. It was stuff for
Why not me? I'm the one who likes to eat. You're the one who knows how to make food. That's not the right judge. The right judge is one who doesn't know how to make anything, but knows how to pick the most delicious thing. I'm kidding.
No, I would love for you to be on there. Ashley and I've got a system. Like, it's really funny because, like, if Ashley knows that I'm going to be on the judge and I know that she is, like, Helene came in the judging and we're like, no, you have to judge it like this. It's her competition, but we're like, no. We do it like this. Ashley brought a form for us this last year, and I was like, oh!
I enjoy that. Yeah, like taste, texture,
yeah,
like spice.
And we have a way we negotiate. Like, we bring in the new person. There's always 1 or 2 new people, and we're like, okay. So then everyone gets to talk about their favorites and vote for it. And then if it's not your favorite, but they're 2 people, you give in graciously. Like seriously, like we have it down to an art form of judging this.
I don't know how you do that.
But like,
I'm good at judging powerlifting. Lift? No lift. Did you squat to dip? Yes. No.
Well, what's hard is then when it's traditional mac and cheese versus not traditional mac and cheese.
Oh,
because in one year we had someone who had non-traditional, meaning it was like
dessert mac and cheese.
Dessert mac and cheese or a curry something, and it has to be fantabulous. It has to be off the chart for that to compete against regular mac and cheese. So most of the time those don't make it.
Yeah.
But if it's good, if it's like the best thing we've ever put in our mouths,
right,
it's going to happen.
It's kind of like when you are competing in bodybuilding, you have to have the same tan as other people, because if you look darker or lighter or like more yellow or more brown or whatever, you stand out in like the bad way.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for them to, because they in bodybuilding they select based on appearance. They're like, okay, from the ladies who mainly look the same, this one looks better because of blah, blah, blah. And if you look off, they just kind of like cast you aside, unless you look you're off the charts.
Oh, interesting. Interesting. Yeah, that's a great comparison, though. We do have a question from E who says, do you feel like you face setbacks as a woman in sports? Like,
Can you elaborate, EE, please?
Yeah.
That would be great. Setbacks as in like misogyny or like more harassment or more judgment or more like, I guess maybe I do, but more like, yeah, probably more as a woman in sports than as a vegan in sports.
Really? Because I would have thought it would have possibly been the opposite.
I don't talk about my veganism at the gym. I come and I lift weights, and then people follow me on social media, and they're like, holy crap, she's vegan. I don't like, or I'll go in like my vegan strong plant built shirt or my like not bad for a vegan kind of shirt, and people notice, and if they ask me about it, and I answer, but I don't super talk about it unless people ask me usually. As a woman in sports, not anymore, because I'm a nationally qualified athlete.
You've established yourself.
I'm established.
That, right?
I'm pretty competitive. I am pretty known among the vegans and among the powerlifters in the United States. Now I'm starting to get known among the vegans in Russia as well. Okay. I might be a speaker at their National Vegan Conference November 1st, so that's exciting.
And so you'll be back in Russia by then. Okay.
Yeah, it's November 1st, so I should be there a couple days before
You
And
can
I
bring
just-
Halloween celebrations to
Yo,
Russia.
vegans are just crazy about Halloween in Russia too.
Are they?
Yeah, I can show you. Like, I'm in this vegan chat, like Russian vegan chat, and they just made shirts and hats, and it says "vegan witch." And I thought about you.
Oh.
I was like, "Yo, that's Kathy." How is that? Like, why are all vegans crazy about purple and Halloween? Like in all countries. I don't get it, but that's true.
I like that, for sure.
I want to finish answering
Yes, please do.
question. Yeah. In terms of setbacks about women in sports, if you come to the gym and you just, I have my program, I do my program, I'm like asking for a lift off every once in a while, so somebody hands me the barbell for like bench press or something, and I seem like I know what I'm doing and I'm not bothering anybody. I don't think so, but if I was doing something stupid or kind of just like being shy, maybe there's some jerk who would come and be like, "Hey, you're doing this wrong," or like, "Hey, you need help."
Mm-hmm.
There's always jerks, but I don't think that's because I'm a woman. I think jerks just exist kind of universally in all countries, and they are jerks to women, non-women,
and in all professions.
And in all
too.
professions, yeah. So I've been facing more of that in like construction, which is a hugely male-dominant industry, more than sports. So
You know who worked in construction though? Who was a manager? Jill Dalton, Whole Food Plant-Based Cooking Show.
Okay.
And
sweet.
she lives in Cary, so all of these people live here. So like, and she's a little tiny person.
Yeah.
And she was like, she kicks some butt. Like she knows how to do all the construction things.
Yeah.
But I agree with you.
I did too. It was just not enjoyable.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Well, you're so not a shy, delicate flower in general.
Right.
That I say, and I mean that in the best way.
Thank you.
Because I can be like, especially like in the gym. With weights, I'm just like, yeah, no, thank you. I'll do that at home, or I'll do it in a class, or I would do, of
I
course,
have clients like that.
because I don't know what I'm doing, so I know I'm just like a magnet for someone to come say something, and so that's how I feel.
A lot of people feel like that, not just women. I train a guy.
Mm-hmm.
He recently, he is like a gamer, and he does not want to go out of the house. And he finally got a place for the garage where he bought a squat rack over the summer. The one that I told him like what to buy, I told him exactly what equipment, and he was like, I've trained more than I've trained out of any gym, out of my home, throughout the summer while you were gone, while you were like writing me what to get and writing the program, because nobody's watching me and because I can just do my thing. So I start coming over to his house now, and we train for 2 hours once a week, and we have like the best time. He's the most confident person ever. He can do 4 pull-ups now with body weight. I'm just amazed how much confidence it can give you.
I love that idea too. Like, so Cheryl and I have bought weights, and it a lot, as you guys all know, Katcha sort of knows too, our lives have been going a little bit crazy. So we're giving ourselves, October, like maybe the end of next week, we're going to kind of pull ourselves back together and get into a routine. But so we are good. We have the weights, we have the things that we need, and so we're prepped up for that. But I think sometimes for some people or personalities, doing some things at home can be easier.
Oh yeah, absolutely. It's also not just the personalities, it's getting over that initial gym anxiety. When you when you feel like you're the magnet for somebody to come and say negative things to you, you kind of are projecting that energy. It's, like when you're afraid of the dog can sense it and is more likely to bite you, stuff like that. But then when you get your confidence up here in the gym, here in the home gym, in your living room, and then you're like, yeah, I kind of don't know what I'm doing, but at least I feel like I don't look like an idiot anymore.
Right.
And I can just go and do these 4 things that I know how to do, and then leave. You don't have to know how to do everything.
Oh, I think that's really great too. And I know I'm not the only one who gets a little nervous about things they don't know. And in fact, what I do is teach people how to feel more comfortable about cooking, right? This is the same, people get the same thing, oh, but what if it goes wrong? And it's like, okay, out of making over 1,000 recipes, I've thrown 3 out. 3. And, so chances are good, even if it's not amazing, it's edible.
Chances are it's edible, yeah.
Or you can make it edible. So
he asked me why was I vegan.
Let's do this one real quick, and then we'll go back to hers. Claire says, I agree, Kathy. I'm shy about exercising in front of people, especially if I'm pulling an ugly face lifting a weight.
Yo, I'm going to show you an ugly face right now. I have a collection on my phone of screenshots of me at the, like during the lift, when my face is just like, it's usually this one.
Is it on Instagram? Because if it is, I might be able to pull it up.
No.
Okay.
Maybe? If it is, it's super old, but
Okay.
yeah, I will find it. I have a special folder for that.
All right, we'll go, while you're looking for that, I'm going to
Yeah.
give you E's question is, what is the reason or reasons you are vegan?
Boy, I can't do two things at the same time.
Oh, you can't, I can do two, but not three. Like,
How?
I don't know. But then Cheryl will talk to me when I'm doing two things and my whole brain explodes.
Yeah.
Um,
So one of the reasons I'm vegan, I went vegan for health reasons because my cholesterol was like off the charts, and I was 23. I was lifting weights. I had a six-pack. I was running like every other day, but I couldn't run for long distances. My side really started hurting, and I just felt like my stomach was kind of like brick tough. Like like now I can just kind of feel my organs, and they're like soft, especially in the morning. I'm like, okay, you know, I can feel my organs, and I don't feel like something is like a rock. And when I was 23, I just graduated, I started working, and I was like, yeah, I'm so cool, like, you know, I'm so fit, whatever. And then I tested blood at work for free, and I saw my blood work. My cholesterol was like borderline heart disease. My triglycerides were high. My good cholesterol was low, and I was like, why? I like lift weights, I do cardio, I eat clean. What I thought. I hate those terms now. I hate just myths about what's good for you, good food, bad food. Oh, it's good to eat in the mornings, bad to eat in the evening. All of those rules, I threw those out, and I just started looking for ways to drop my cholesterol because doctor was like, oh, here's some pills. And I was like, no, thank you. We're going to do this in a non-pills way. I'm 23. Like, what is wrong with you?
and
So-
at that point, you were not vegetarian or vegan.
Oh, no.
Okay.
I was vegetarian for, like, I don't know, freshman year of college because I read Eating Animals by Jonathan Safran Foer.
Yeah,
but he
that'll do it.
talks in that book only from a health perspective and not very much from the environmental or, like, eating animals perspective. So I didn't even think about the ethics part. You know, having grown up in Russia, it's very hard, I think, for the Eastern European people who just a lot of them don't have the basic needs to think about environment and others. And animals, they're not even humans. Like, why worry about their well-being if you don't have running water every day? If you get, you know, if you get drones, if you get, like, stuff like that. So it's a lot harder having grown up in Russia. Like, I've had everything my whole life. But I know people who don't. So when I start talking to them about veganism, they're like, with my salary, vegan food is so expensive. And I'm like, well, you just don't know where to get it. So I don't know. I just feel like all of those arguments, they don't stick. And that's why I didn't consider anything like that was like outside of the selfish bubble. So anyways, I went vegan for health first. I saw my cholesterol drop like to a third of what it was in a summer. And I wasn't even going cold turkey vegan. I was slowly just cutting out, you know, dairy, and then introducing tofu, and then I was introducing more foods than I was cutting out, and kind of waiting for my vegan foods to push out the like tofu, to push out the meat, and like vegan milks to push out the dairy milks and stuff like that.
That's a great way to transition, though, and for like for those of you who have maybe not already made that, you know, like I've talked before too, Cheryl eats whole food plant-based now, but the reason she was able to go to vegan was Impossible Burgers, you know?
Yeah.
Let's see if we can,
So that's my lifting face.
There we go.
Yeah, you can kind of see it. I'm doing a deadlift here. Let me zoom out. And I have like a collection of videos photos like this.
I'm going to try and cover your face. See if it's getting your face is what's happening.
Okay. Hi. Can you not get my face? Anyways.
So I think we got it.
You guys see that it's, I get ugly faces all the time. I welcome them. I almost like adore them because I know if it's an ugly face, it's usually a good lift.
Oh, that's a good way to think
Yeah,
about
so
it.
if you guys go on my YouTube, it's Katya Gorbacheva, just at Katya Gorbacheva, go to shorts, and at the end of like whatever the heavy pull there is, I'm definitely gonna have an ugly face if it's a good pull. So you can look at those and be like, oh, like a competitive nationally qualified powerlifter looks like that. I sure as hell not worried about how I look anymore.
Yeah.
So yeah, do that.
Well, I think you're really, and going back to the reason you're vegan, so you started off.
I started as health, and for like 2 years, ethics didn't even super occur to me. I thought, oh, diet is just veganism. It's diet. I didn't think about like not wearing leather or replacing my household products. I started getting into that when I started going to Vegfest here. And then I got invited to a Vegfest as a speaker after I competed as a bodybuilder. So the environmental impact has always been important to me.
Okay.
And I'm trying to like reduce the waste, not use that much plastic, like go to the grocery store with this bag that I can put my apples in that's rewashable, reusable. I'm pissing everybody off in Russia with this because that's also not something that people do. My mom certainly doesn't do that. My dad doesn't do that. They'll bring like a bag so they don't have to get a plastic bag. But plastic bags are free in Russia, so I think they just bring it because it's convenient to carry.
Yeah.
And they're not super like reducitarian in terms of waste. And I am, and I have been, so that's like natural to me. The environmental, natural, makes sense. The ethics came kind of last because, again, being from Eastern Europe, it's hard to just think like, oh, those animals, like, yeah, I guess they're important, but like, take care of the people first. But it's still important, and living in the United States, I can connect with that better. Going to Vegfest, I can connect with that better. And being a part of the largest vegan team in the world, where everybody is vegan for the animals, it's also that much easier. You talk about that. I started going to protests. I started doing activism, like protesting against foie gras. So the ethics came later. Replacing the household products came later. And I still, sometimes I'm like, oh, I bought this. Did I do my research on like, it has not been animal tested? I need to do research. So this happens so everybody can improve on their vegan journey. I definitely know I need to.
Well, everybody, it's a range too, and one thing I just kind of like to put out there for some of you who may not know too, like most of the time we're talking about plant-based and whole food plant-based on my channel,
right.
And so there's in my groups there's always whole food plant-based people and vegans, so that's not always the way it is everywhere.
No,
we get along because we all support each other in our own goals. But so like whole food plant-based, and a lot of people go plant-based, a lot of us are older because usually it's a health reason, and a lot of times that's how that finds that way. It definitely tends to be something people find out more 40s, 50s. It seems that's the way in, like through Dr. McDougall, Dr. Furman, Dr. Greger. I combined those names. Sorry about that.
just make an acronym.
And others.
MFN. FMN. Doctors, 3 letters.
Right. And so a lot of times when we talking on this channel, like someone will say, can I eat this? And I'm like, well, what doctor are you following? When I can give you a substitute for some of this. Like if someone's saying, can I have...
They're like regimens. You know?
Yeah. So I give options for people if they're vegan, if they're...
I see.
Following these
gotcha.
other things. So that's kind of my thing, is like I'm the queen of options. So I can always make all these options and recipes. I became vegetarian in 1983 for ethical reasons.
Nice.
And so then I became vegan, I think it was 2010.
Yeah.
And so I see some people go from vegan, and I will even say vegetarian. Now it's not as big of a thing as it was. Like in 1983, being a vegetarian was harder than being a vegan is now. Absolutely.
Why?
Because they didn't even have vegetarian options in restaurants. And I lived in the South. Oh, have you tried to get a vegetable plate while you've lived in North Carolina? Do you know that there's...
Yes, butter and freaking bacon on top.
Bacon, pork fat. So,
Yeah.
and Actually, right after I became vegetarian was when there was the big cholesterol scare. So they stopped frying things in lard. It was like the best thing that ever happened to me in 1984.
Why would you fry things in lard?
Well, people do it again now. Like paleo, they're kind of into it.
It's okay. That's just natural selection.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So again, just if you're new to the show or you don't know me as much, whatever Katcha's saying is what Katcha does, and nobody's trying to make you do things. If you're doing it just strictly from a health reason, great. You're doing it strictly from an environmental reason, great. You're doing it for moral reasons or ethical reasons.
Yeah, if you're doing for all reasons,
Awesome.
that's even better.
Yeah. So I always feel like because it gets most people on one of those, and
Right.
I have my own reasons why, and
Yes.
even when I was vegetarian, I'm like, I don't really care if people are doing it for health reasons or what, it still works towards my goal.
Right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah. So what I can add to that is also like your community's whole food plant-based community for the most part, and it
Yeah.
overlaps with vegan. My community is athletic, that is usually not vegan, and like vegan, that is small part athletic. And well, clearly they overlap, right? The majority of the overlap is my team or like my clients or my team's friends and followers. But the majority of us are not whole food plant-based, and that's not because we're like against it or we're not trying to be healthy. It's just our goals are performance goals. And I
Right.
also I try to make it clear to my clients or like followers, because they're like, oh, is this healthy? Or like, will I look better if I eat this instead of this? Or like, will I get stronger? And I'm like, yo, there's 3 circles that overlap. Aesthetics, or whatever you define beauty for you, however you want to look. Do you want to be bigger, smaller, less fat, less body fat, or more shredded, more visible muscle, a little bit more body fat, and like stronger, however. So aesthetics.
Right.
Then health, right? Feeling good, blood work, all other labs, more energy, good sleep, no pain, whatever. Health, however you identify that for you. And performance in your sport. My sport is powerlifting, so I want to bench as much as I can bench press. I want to deadlift, and I want to squat as much as I can squat. That is my sport. If you're a bodybuilder, your sport matches your aesthetics because it's an aesthetical sport, right? So then you have 2 things to worry about. If you are, I don't know, Olympic lifter, you also have performance. So anyways, you eat and you train and you live for the goal that's more important for you. Those 3, they're not the same. You have to prioritize.
Right.
I prioritize performance. So my health is probably second and my aesthetics is probably third. You have to prioritize. I don't care if you want all 3. We all want everything in our life, right? But we need to prioritize.
Right. You can't always have everything.
So how about you prioritize? Health is most important for you. Okay, you follow this doctor. I don't know their names, unfortunately, McDougall. And
McDougall, Gregor, Furman.
And Furman?
Furman.
Great. Yeah, so you do that. That works for you. You're training for competition? Great. Now you follow my advice and do exactly as I tell you, and then you will gain performance, you will gain strength, and you will compete excellently. Right. You're doing this for aesthetics? Okay, let's write your nutrition plan so you get closer to your aesthetical goals and look like the dream cover magazine of yourself.
No, I like that because it's true. You do have to decide goals, and I feel like a lot of times the environmental health ethics kind of makes that too. Like, so if it's environmental, I'm probably not thinking about myself as much, or it just depends. Or I feel like when people come to it for health reasons, especially when they're older, is what I see a lot, is that, your doctor has said, hey, your cholesterol's high, or hey, you're getting ready to have metabolic syndrome. And people are like, crap, I'm 50 now. Like, it's different when you're 23. It's not nice to hear. When you're 50, you're like, I have to do everything now.
No, I was under that impression.
Were you? Like, that's great for so young. Most of the time, young people
Because holy
don't.
shit, I was 23, Kathy.
Yeah.
I would think, at least in Russia, it's considered like more quote unquote normal to get some kind of a heart disease, some kind of a diabetes, some kind of something, because you're just old. It's okay, you're old. And it's not right, but that's just kind of the mentality that most people accept. I wasn't gonna accept that at 23.
Yeah, that's great. And maybe it's just my experience with some people who are young. And when I was young, when people had more health issues, they were kind of like, I'm young, I'll get over it. So it's really,
No, it gets worse.
I commend you for taking big steps then too, for sure.
Yeah, it was definitely a big step. Everybody at work and my family was trying to talk me out of it. They're like, yeah, your teeth are going to fall out, your hair, your period's going to stop, like, you're going to be infertile, your sport, just forget about sport. And I've gotten stronger and healthier since then, so.
Well, it's interesting, and I think everybody, no matter what they're doing, vegan or whole food, plant-based, gets that social pushback when you change your diet in general. So like a lot of people that are...
If you tell people.
And that's interesting, because when I asked you about that, you're like, I don't talk about that at the gym.
In
but
the
like,
gym, no. I come there to lift.
But like Ashley Kitchens is a CrossFitter. So those of you who don't know, CrossFit usually follows a paleo diet that's very meat heavy.
Powerlifting is also very meat heavy.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because my doctor started CrossFit, and that's when we started passing ways. So it's very interesting because her and her husband are the only vegans or plant-based people in their gym. At least they were last time. That could have changed since I talked to them. But I think it is very interesting.
It's kind of uniform for strength sports. A lot of strength sports people follow more meat-heavy diets. Meat and dairy, because whey protein, definitely whey protein from milk, casein, ooh, and...
She's saying that sarcastic.
And freaking, what else do they do? Steaks and burgers, chicken breast.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. So Mona has 2 questions for you.
Yeah.
What's in your green drink, and how do you stay motivated?
Sludge. Oh, yay, motivation. I'm going to start with motivation. Dear Mona, motivation is BS. It does not exist. It's a made-up thing, and I don't stay motivated. I hire a coach. So I pay him money. So I can be like, shit, I pay somebody money. I gotta like work this money out, and then I go to the gym. So highly recommend. Or even if it's like a friend, and I'm like, okay, write me a program. I have a competition. Oh yeah, I signed up for a competition. I have a cheat code. Even though I don't believe in motivation, but I also don't really believe that discipline works either. So it's like, what works then, right? What do you do to like just keep going? I think I would have gone insane without it. I have ADHD and moderate depression most of the time. Mm-hmm. And when I don't lift, I just feel awful. So at first when you start lifting, you're like, oh, everything hurts. Oh, I'm hungry. I can't do anything. And I'm tired.
That's anything new.
But if you stick with it for like 3 or 4 weeks, then you get addicted to it. And your brain is used to this dopamine outburst after your workout. You get like post-workout high or post-run high. You cannot live without it. So I cannot live without it. I feel like when nothing hurts anymore, when I don't feel my muscles, I'm like, do I have muscles? Like, where are they? I think nothing hurts. It's wrong. It's weird. Well, not hurt. Nothing is sore. So anyways, I recommend my cheat code for motivation is pick a goal that is not short term, so not like 4 weeks, but not like long term, not like 2 years or a year. Mm-hmm. Don't try to lose 10 pounds by next summer or lose 20 pounds as fast as you can. Pick something kind of like half reasonable that you think you could do. Mm-hmm. So for example, I usually sign up for competitions like half a year from the date.
Okay.
4 months to half a year. I think like 3 to 6 months is a perfect time for you to pick a goal and be like, I should be able to, and then pick a performance goal.
Do you do the in-betweens as well after you pick that bigger goal? Do you kind of go backwards?
Kind of. I'm getting to that.
Okay, sorry.
So, no worries. For example, and I try to pick a performance goal. Performance goal, that means a goal that depends on your actions. So your body losing weight is your body losing fat or weight or like your blood work adjusting. You can't control it. You can control what you eat. You can control how much you work out. You can control how much you walk or swim or sleep or be on your phone, stuff like that. So you are going to pick a goal that is solely dependent on those things. Yeah. And like for me, I signed up for a competition. You can sign up for, 5K walk. You can sign up for cooking competition, whatever. You can schedule a YouTube live and saying, hey, I'm going to talk about blah, 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 like how I've been doing in my journey and blah, blah, blah. So by signing up for competition, I'm like, well, damn, I'm going to be at a competition. I better like do my best. Otherwise, it's a waste of freaking time. And then I make a plan on how to do well. And I just go to the gym like 3 or 4 times a week or 2 times a week. It doesn't matter, plus or minus minutia. It's just about the volume of work that I get throughout this time, split by every week. And I'm like, okay, I can do decently okay at this goal. So that's my motivation.
Okay, and let me reiterate, make sure I understand. When you're saying a performance goal, you're not talking about the end result performance goal, but all the little things that you do to create that, like going to the gym, getting enough sleep. Is that what you meant by performance goal?
Performance goal, no, because those are like individual actions. Performance goal for me is like, yeah, I want to be able to deadlift 200 kilos. Like, I want to be deadlifted at 440 pounds. And I know if I make this plan with this progression, I will be able to do it because I've been training powerlifting for over 10 years.
Yeah.
I have a coach who's been training powerlifting athletes for over 30 years. We can do this. Regarding like weight loss, it can be similar. It's not that much of like a performance because your body doesn't super perform. I enjoy performance goals because I think they are healthier just for our mental health. Mm-hmm. Like being able to push during your workouts or during like the speed of your runs or something that like you can finally get to that like 10-minute mile, 8-minute mile, whatever during the run. Mm-hmm. So that's performance, but I think you can count on it more than on like blood work or weight loss or something else that your body just does.
Right.
You're right. It's not something that is super controlled exactly by those actions.
But
those actions bring you like to that probably 80% with 80% assurance rather than nutrition and diet and blood work because of genetics can bring you there with 40% assurance. And then you can get super disappointed.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think sometimes too, having those middle things be the goal. Like if you know that, well, I have trouble walking consistently. If maybe your goal is this week, I'm signing up for this 5K in, I don't know, November. There's a turkey trot everywhere. And so I'm going to do at least once a week now, and then maybe have twice a week, and then maybe before you're doing it, doing it like 5. Healthy. So I'm trying to think of something where you can not. Here's what I do that's really, really naughty. So I'll be like, I want to do a 5K. So then immediately, even if I haven't been exercising or I've been sick, I'm going to walk 5K every day from now until then, which is completely unreasonable. And please don't do this. Please do not do this because it's cruel. It's cruel to yourself because maybe it's going to rain.
With lifting, you won't be able to do this because I'm like, I want to deadlift 200 kilos. Well, I can't right now, and I can't every day until the day that I compete.
Yeah.
All I can do is I can calculate my numbers and my lifting volume on each day. That will lead me to that progress. But I still can backtrack and write it down and go execute. And also, 2 other things that help me execute this is having a lifting buddy. Well, talking coach, we already talked to coaches. Yes, definitely helps. But having a lifting buddy that is physically present if your coach is far away. Like all my athletes are far away. Mm-hmm. I write them a program and I send it to them in an Excel sheet or in my app, and then they do it. And then if they don't do it, I'm like typing angry, like, why don't you go to the gym? They're like, because I'm lazy. But if you scheduled a hangout with your best friend at the gym when you both can see each other, get social time, get out of the house, and get a lift in, everybody wins. And you're going to feel awful if you just blow that meeting.
Right. I know. I totally agree with things like that and having a friend. So like last year when I had liver issue, my friend was like, we're going to walk every week. And we're still walking every week a year and a half later. This summer we had some skipped weeks. But in general, we're still coming back to that. And both of us do our best to be there. Because I think it's easier to let yourself down than to let other people down general.
100%, yes. Which is why you need accountability in terms of coach, friend, supportive partner, whoever, and you need overall a supportive environment. So if everybody in your house is like, vegan, bleh, I'm not eating this vegan stuff, and you're like, this is pasta. It has been vegan all your life and you still ate it. So anyways, if they're just kind of there about it, or if people are like, you're like doing strength sports, that's manly. You're gonna look like a manly man instead of a womanly woman. I don't support that. You know, you're gonna like have to resist that, plus resist your own like laziness or your own doubts about yourself, and being like, yeah, I don't want to look like a manly man. Like, what am I doing? I'm gonna go like do Zumba, because I'm, you know, a woman, I guess.
If you're we used to do Zumba, and it was kind of hilarious. I wish I had video of it because I would be so lost.
I tried Zumba. I couldn't do
Zumba's
it.
hard, man.
I couldn't do it.
It's a lot of remembering things. I'm not that great.
Too much movement.
Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I did get a good workout, but I was so bad at it, there was no way I could continue.
I was just pissed. I was like, everybody's doing it, and I'm trying, but I'm always behind. And when I finally catch up, they're already doing a new
Not the thing, right? And I'm like, no, stay with the same thing.
Squat is always the same. It has been the same when I started lifting. It's still the same now. It's amazing. I just add weight. It's the best.
What's interesting, because I don't tend to get bored. Like, I really love walking. It's a meditation.
Walking is a meditation, yeah. New scenery.
And also, like, because we were walking a lot when we were at Disney, so we were walking 8 miles a day. And then I came back and I walked my little 3 miles and I was like, oh, there are no hills in Florida. So that my 3 miles felt a little more tiring than those 8 miles for a week did. And I was like, wow.
Nice.
Because usually when I'm walking here, I don't think, oh, there's a hill. I think, oh, I'm almost halfway or whatever.
Exactly.
People who talk to me on the phone, because usually I'll do phone calls when I'm walking. There's one hill over there, and I'm always like, I think I talked to you one day. I'm like, I'm not dying. I'm going up the big hill.
Right.
I promise you.
Another motivation thing. Kathy just mentioned, like, she didn't really notice the hills because there's like, you're on the phone or you're doing this or you're halfway there. You are distracting yourself while doing the hard thing.
Yeah, I'm really good at that, actually.
That is something everybody needs to be good at if you want to do a lot of hard things, such as like walking. If walking is hard for you, walking quickly. Like running, I can just sprint to my favorite, metal songs. I cannot just sprint without the metal songs because after 20 seconds, I'm like, I don't want to run anymore. Running is hard. And there, I'm just like, Linkin Park!
No, I think I would, like, sometimes even if I'm kind of low, there's certain songs I put on before I do lives. If I'm feeling kind of, I'm a little blah right now, and so like I was listening to a book on tape while I was cleaning and doing some stuff. So sometimes if it's something I don't want to do, I'm queen of watching TV and putting away my clothes because I get to do something I want and it's something I do, and then you're not paying as much attention to it. So I love that you brought that up.
But that doesn't work that much for lifting, because in lifting you actually need to like focus. You can listen to your favorite song, but you can't listen to like a book.
Right, and so I can't listen to a book while I'm writing, but I can listen to a book while I'm doing photography and setting up the food styling, right? Yes. Because I don't need that language center.
Yes.
And and so I can watch some TV stuff while I'm doing the language stuff because I'm just seeing. And I never thought about it like that till just now. Rami was saying, I do think I need a coach because I have not found the motivation myself or have an exercise buddy. And
I'm sorry for you. You will find an exercise buddy. Maybe if you join the community that your coach, your potential future coach could have, you could talk to the other athletes that they train. Like I have a community for powerlifters, I have a community for bodybuilders, and a community for just older women who do PT in the house and they don't want to be bothered by like all of these heavy stuff.
So you can check that out too. And if you're just beginning your journey on the Heartbeat group, we're having a monthly movement challenge.
Oh, nice.
That you get to be wherever you are. So if we're doing exercises, we have chair exercises or regular exercises, and people get to turn it into points. So if I was going against you, I could still win. Ha ha ha. We wanted to make it fair for everyone.
Yes.
And in October, we're walking from my house to Salem, Massachusetts, because we're going to Salem. It's where the witch trials were. We're going up there in October for Halloween stuff.
You're walking?
Walking. Like that means we're not really.
Hiking to Massachusetts?
We're not really. That's the challenge, is so they'll get enough points that they will have walked.
So you need to walk the same distance as from here to there?
Yeah, point wise, yeah. So we're letting it, so some people, if their goal is they're just actually trying to do any movement and get out of bed, going to their mailbox might count. For me, it might be my 3-mile walk that counts for the point.
Okay, so that means I need to walk like a shit ton. So I'm not doing it. I'm not. This is not fair.
I think that you will get a lot of walking when you're going back.
What's it called in school when they curve down?
Oh yeah, the curve, the bell curve.
I don't buy that stuff. I don't want to be like an A+ student who gets curved down just because I'm like genetically gifted or young or something. No, we're not. You can walk without me.
Okay, that's all right. You'll still get. So we're gonna actually like go live while we're there. They have the coolest decorations last year.
Okay, maybe I'll join you, but I'm not participating in the challenge.
That's okay.
Okay.
Absolutely.
Somebody asked me
has
what's
to.
in my green sludge,
Yes.
and I forgot to answer. I have green kale that would have gone bad otherwise. I had no intentions of making a green smoothie. I in fact hate smoothies, but I just didn't want to eat breakfast. So I have 2 scoops of Zao protein, which is chocolate protein. It's my favorite protein. It is half pea, half brown rice with a little bit of reishi mushrooms, fermented reishi mushrooms for digestion. I did put my ashwagandha in there. I usually just take it, but I put a scoop of turmeric, a scoop of ashwagandha, about 600 milligrams each. So just like 1/4 teaspoon, half a teaspoon. Ginger. There's something else in there. And green tea that I made yesterday, I also forgot to drink. So all the things that I just... Oh, and half a banana. Yay.
That sounds delicious.
It's okay. I don't like to drink my calories.
Katcha is always very honest. It cracks me up because I would be like, mine tastes amazing. And you're always like, it's okay.
No, it's like green sludge.
And it's okay. And Rami, so just look at what you're wanting to do. If you have more athletic goals, definitely find someone who can help you with those athletic goals. If you're looking just to get going and trying to get into a routine, there may be some, many places that you can look.
I do have a home workout program if you just want to train at the house with body weight on totalbodylab.com. If you want
I'll put that in the comments.
If you want to check that out, or you can message me. There's like a coaching application on totalbodylab.com. You can just use that as a, hey, I found you on Kathy Hester and I need tips. I have this and this situation and I don't know what to do. I don't know if I'm ready for a coach. Maybe you can recommend something and I can just send you some recommendations of like my YouTube videos, maybe some exercises, or if you do want for me to write your program, I can, but like you can just use that as like a feedback form for y'all.
Okay.
Yeah, don't be shy.
All right, and I've got there you go. Yeah, someone says green sludge. That's how mine tastes too, yucky. And sometimes mine does. So let's talk about this for a minute. Lee's saying, what is moderate depression compared to regular depression?
I was saying moderate, not modern.
Yeah, moderate,
I don't
for
know
sure.
what's the difference between regular, moderate. Moderate, I mean like not severe. Like I can get out of bed and brush my teeth.
It's not clinical. Clinical depression.
It's clinical.
To me,
I'm being medicated for it.
Okay, no,
Yeah.
And see, to me, I thought the term, and I could be wrong, I thought the term clinical depression meant severe depression. Not that moderate
Okay.
can still be medicated, it can still be diagnosed,
Okay.
but I don't know.
I might
But
know
I might not know
verbiage.
either. But
I know that I have depression, but it's not severe. That's all I know. It's clinically diagnosed. My psychiatrist diagnosed it. I've been on meds for it for like the last 2 years.
and lots of people are on meds for depression,
fine.
anxiety, and different things.
Yeah, I have both of those things, and I have ADHD too. Yay! And I can function just fine without those meds, but life is easier with the meds.
Right.
So, yeah, I somehow graduated from Duke without having been diagnosed or medicated for any of those things, which is, I do regret for not having been diagnosed before. Somebody said they want to go keto.
Yeah, we're just going to ignore them. Somebody's doing vegan and talking about keto. This isn't really the best place, although she doesn't do keto. There is some vegan keto stuff out there if you want to go look. This is a whole food, plant-based, no oil channel. We're doing a vegan thing today, so you will not find anything that works for you probably with my stuff.
You should just block them.
Yeah. Let's just see what else. Okay. He just said he wanted to try keto. I think it's fine. I'm really interested in the home workout for strength.
Yeah, I have that on totalbodylab.com.
And I put
I might have removed all of my subscription products just because I'm revamping the website. So if you guys can't find it in the store, I'm gonna actually check right now. Just leave me the coaching. Fill out the coaching application. Be like, yo, I found you on Kathy Hester. Where's your freaking home workout program? I want it. It's $29 a month. You can just subscribe and it renews every month. You get new workouts, and then you are a part of the group where you can say hi to other people, be like, hey, I did my workout, or hey, I ate this, I ate that. And
we came on your Zoom calls a couple of times. The people were very nice and supportive and things like that. So I felt like it was a good place to be.
I might start the Zoom calls again. Now that we're going to have English speakers and Russian speakers, we're going to potentially do those separately. Let's see.
And Miriam was saying you can be diagnosed with clinical depression or major depressive disorder. I don't know how to tell the difference in us either.
Major.
And Romney's saying, I'm in my 40s. Both of my grandmothers suffered fractures at old age, and I would like to prevent that. And
yeah, I found it. It's there. It's I don't know if the camera can allow for this. Yeah,
we need a big piece of
is not, but yeah, it's just
there.
in the store. You can see.
So totalbodylab.com.
Yeah. So I have the signature bodybuilding and private support group. That is just a lifting program for the gym. You can be older and do that just fine, even though that's just me in a bikini there. That does not mean that excludes you. That's the gym program. And the beginner home strength program is exact same thing, but adapted for home. So you use chairs, you use bands, you use light equipment that is available at the house, and it's scalable for any level. So if you buy that and you're like, I cannot do this exercise, I can replace it for you. But that is not a custom-made program. Those two they're already pre-built, and they just renew subscription-based. Every month you get new workouts, and you're part of the group. You do not get custom form feedback from me. If you want a custom plan.
And when she means, I've seen you go through your custom client. So
Yeah.
she goes through and literally you send her videos for the custom one.
Yes.
And she comments on tweaks and things that you can make.
And I actually write the program that would fit with your specific equipment, like your house. Maybe you have some more bands or more barbell, or maybe you cannot squat all the way down because you have a hip injury or knee injury. So I'll write the program that still gets you there and takes your goals into more consideration, rather than those programs that I've pre-built that are excellent, but they don't know you. So yeah.
Right. But I think when you're not sure and you haven't done any of the things, going into that initial program is kind of nice because you get to kind of test it out a little bit.
I think if you're younger, it works better because most young people have less deviation in their health. So the younger you are, the more all young people can walk. All young people can probably run a mile without any training. All young people can probably squat, blah, blah, blah. But the older you get, the more either experience you get in your sport. So the more strong I can get as a powerlifter, because I have more volume, I have more traction, I have more progress in my sport. Or if I'm sedentary and I'm an IT person, I can get more progress here, but I can get less progress in my body and my muscle. I can get some more diseases or trouble walking. And you see how the routes of those two people are completely different. And if they both buy the same pre-built program, one of them will be bored as hell and they're going to want their money back. And the other one is going to be this is hard as hell. I want my money back. Who's this for? So I would say for people who are I don't know, I am not an average kind of person that can do average things, I would probably get a month of coaching first and then go into the pre-built program if you want to save money. But I don't know, message me. Depends on your goals.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so how would they go about getting the custom program, and what does that look like price-wise?
It's on the store.
Okay.
You can just buy it. The pre-built program is $29 a month. The custom program is $357.
Okay.
Yes, so that's expensive. But it's expensive because I take in your information, you give me what you eat, you give me how you train, you give me your injury history, maybe your labs, the whole ordeal. I can talk to your doctor, I can talk to your PT. And then I build a program that I think would fit you. And then you send me the videos of you like squatting, doing push-ups, maybe from a wall or with a band or whatever. I look at those videos and write you your next week. And I look at how you did the second week and I write you the third week. So it is tailored to you, daily feedback, daily talking to me if you need, as many calls as you need. So it's like, you get super support. And if I see you're not doing anything, I'm going to call you and be like, excuse me, motivation? You wanted motivation? You spent the money. Gotta work, girl.
Yeah. No, I like that. And I love what you mentioned too about, if you want me to talk to your doctor, because we just had Angela Fischetti on.
Nice.
And she was saying too, because she works specifically with this population, and she was saying when you're things you should look for when you're looking at a personal trainer, and one should be they should offer to talk to your doctor.
Yes.
So I loved hearing. I wouldn't have thought about that before her, but it was really helpful.
It's sometimes I would talk to their doctor. Sometimes I would more frequently talk with their PT.
Okay.
Yeah. Or like their massage therapist or their whatever else they do, the body work person they do. Like their body work person can be like, hey, they have knots here and there. They are super tight in their like hamstring or quads or whatever. And the person might not really know that. They might just be like, yeah, I can't squat more than halfway down. And I can give them tests to figure out if it's a hip tightness, if it's an ankle tightness, or if they have an injury or pain somewhere. But if they already have a bodywork person, they can just tell me that. So sometimes it takes, I send all my clients like an intake form where they fill all this out. But sometimes they might just not know. They could just be like, yeah, it hurts to squat. And I'd be like, okay, how, where? Up or down? Can you do it with the support from the top if you hold onto a band? Or are your heels lifting? Maybe it's an ankle tightness. Maybe you just have, I don't know, short femurs and like long tibia. So million options.
Yes.
And that's why I do what I do, is because it's really not that easy to just find a program on the internet and be like, I'm going to get stronger. I'm going to lose weight.
It's true. I like the idea of being so customized.
Yeah. But it takes time.
It does.
It's not super scalable, so that's why I don't train like more than 30 people at all times ever.
Right. Well, I remember when you were coming over once a month, like she would come over maybe like an hour early and we'd chat for a while, and then she'd just be on her we would chat and she'd be on her phone, but like she's like literally looking at what people ate. She'd show me people exercising, because I was talking to her about the program and like, I was like, I think I'm too old, and you were like, no, look,
Everybody says that.
She's too old. She's your age.
Literally any person after 40, there's a chance they're going to tell me I'm too old, and they say that, but they usually mean I'm too lazy, I'm too busy, I just don't like your stupid strength stuff, I want to walk instead, can you just don't, and they're kind of saying this to themselves, I feel like. They're saying this out loud because I'm around, but I hear so many excuses that I've never even, for the things I've never even asked the person. I would walk into the room and they'd be like, oh yeah, I exercised yesterday, but I didn't do this, but actually, and maybe next week, 3 days a week, and I'm like, hi, I just said hello, how are you doing? Like, can we not talk about my work? Who asked you this?
But it's like when
But I reminded them.
But I'll say something like, oh yeah, I'm vegan or plant-based, and they'll be like, oh, I only eat chicken. Or like, I'm like, it's your business. Like, no, so I think people are there.
I get both. Hey, I tried tofu, but I still like chicken. Oh, by the way, I exercise, and they just go into the spiel, and I'm like,
I'm sorry for laughing, but it is like people, it's a little confessional.
yeah.
So it is kind of funny.
Yeah.
So Brittany says she's looking for a home workout that will help her tone but not lose so much fat.
Why don't you want to lose fat? Fat is a metabolically inactive tissue that only weighs you down and brings
But maybe
disease.
she just has some fat the way you say you have some fat. Maybe she's not.
I don't mind losing my fat. I'm just not willing to do the things that I need to lose it.
Well,
anyways, we're not judging Brittany. Brittany, you're looking to tone but not lose so much fat that you have other health issues as a 5 feet, 60 inches tall.
I'm kind of confused by, I think that's 5 foot is 60 inches, isn't it? I think it is.
5'6". I'm 5'6". Hi.
Oh, 5'6" or 5'6". 60 inches.
I'm not really
Brittany,
sure what 60 inches.
Can you be a little more
clarify.
specific, and then maybe we can answer that question?
Yeah. Also, I do want to hear why what health conditions you're afraid of, that like from losing fat, because I don't know of any. And regarding toning, so home workouts or gym workouts or walking or literally anything can do two things. They can work your cardiovascular system, they can work your lungs, bring more oxygen into your body, and get your cardiovascular system healthier. They can get your bones stronger. They can get your muscles bigger if you work out with resistance, bands or weights or body weight, doesn't matter. But toning is not something that your muscle can do. Your muscle can get bigger and smaller, and your cardiovascular system can function better or worse if you don't do anything, right?
Okay.
But toning is not something that a muscle can do. If you're looking at like my triceps and you see that it's toned, that means like I have muscle definition. If that's what you mean by toning, all that is having a muscle that's big enough and body fat that's small enough on top so you can see some muscle definition. That's what most people mean by tone. A muscle, when you're saying like, I just want to feel tone, like you feel like
you
you're
feel
healthy.
your muscles, yeah.
You can feel your muscles. That's probably just staying active and making sure your muscles are, engaged and everything, like your joints, your muscles work properly. If that's what you want to feel, that's great. But that's, again, not tone. Tone is not a thing that exists in the fitness community. That's like a word that a lot of people use for muscle definition. And it is incredibly hard to achieve. I have worked my whole life, and you can still barely see anything at all, right? You will only be seeing more if I lose more body fat, which I'm too lazy to do. So yeah, please don't worry about that. Please don't worry about looking too shredded, too toned like a male. Like you won't get there with home workouts that are easy. I promise you.
Right.
And if you want to try the easy home workouts, you can go to totalbodylab.com and check out the thing that I have that's cheap, or send me a message if you want a more expensive thing with more details, and I'm happy to talk to you.
Okay.
Okay, she's 5 feet.
And she's scared of being considered skinny fat, even though I don't need to lose weight.
Oh, okay, great. That's a great clarification. Thank you, Brittany. Okay, yes. People become skinny fat if they just stop eating a lot and they kind of starve themselves without working out, or if they overdo cardio, if they do too much walking, too much running, and then just eat little. So then they don't have like the muscles to like fill their skin. So their skin, especially older people, has less collagen. The younger we are, the more collagen we can produce, and the older we are, the less collagen your body can naturally produce. So our skin naturally sags, we have wrinkles. So if you lose weight quickly, I wouldn't say you can be considered skinny fat. You can be considered skinny fat if you just kind of lose muscle through extreme dieting and extreme cardio.
Okay.
But if you focus on strength training first, and if you want to maintain weight, don't cut any calories. I would add food to your diet. Add whole foods to your diet.
Okay.
And focus on getting the same amount of calories or more calories to equate that little bit of extra calories you are losing from strength training.
Okay.
Train like 3 to 4 times a week, not more. See how you adapt to that. Maybe even 2. Start with 2 times a week. Next week, train 3. Next week, see how you feel. You can add the 4th workout, or no. I would just add stretching probably. Or I would just add like a little bit of cardio. But cardio is good for heart. It's the most important muscle in your body. Strength training is essential for us to be functioning at an older age. You cannot put a box on top of the, on top of the shelf. You cannot pull the couch. You cannot pick up heavy trash bags or grocery bags if you have not been strength training. You cannot bend over and not pull your back if you haven't been strength training and your body's just not used to doing it.
No,
you
it's
don't want
true.
to lose that. You don't want to. You're not going to get too shredded or look skinny fat from strength training. On the contrary, you're going to look healthy, feel healthy, with tone, feel your muscle tone, and I think it's just a win-win-win for everybody.
No, I like that a lot. One thing, I don't know if you know Rose Lapano. She's she's a personal trainer. You would like her. She's hilarious.
Nice.
She's on Monday.
What's her name?
Rose Lopano. So she actually works with menopausal women, though she is young. So she actually has menopausal women aged coaches. But so she came on. She's done a couple of training things. She's coming on to train. So her program is for mostly whole food plant-based women who are not able to lose weight or feel like they're gaining weight through menopause. And so she does strength training, easy strength training twice. Well, I think it's easy because I can understand it. That's how.
It doesn't have to be complicated to be effective.
No. And so like you did some of this too, and I actually mentioned you when she was here too, because like we were using cans and just different things. So if you didn't have something, you don't have to worry about it, right? Yeah, I got.
Continue.
And I'm like, my hand's so teeny, that would just drop out of my hand. I need a smaller can.
That's fine.
But so it's very interesting because I'm hearing a lot about, especially with menopausal women, maybe, I don't know enough about this to know, but like they're talking about maybe adding or substituting a little bit more protein for some of the carbs you might have been having on a normal.
I do the opposite. I do not fit into your circle of high carb, low fat, low everything else people.
Yeah.
I try to use as much protein as I can.
Yeah.
Because that builds muscle.
Well, and what Rose is saying, for the people who have been eating in this way for a while and their body changed, to maybe swap out some of the carbs for a little extra protein and then lifting weights.
The older you get, the more you need to swap carbs for protein because your body will digest protein less and build muscle with more problems. It has a tougher time building muscle. And bone density and healthy muscles are the only things that keep you up on your feet and keep you active and healthy. You do not want to lose muscle ever. So please make sure you eat like at least 30% of calories from your diet of protein. Please, I beg you, at least, not 20. I don't care what your doctors say, but you don't want to lose muscle. You know, maybe your doctor is getting you off like your cholesterol drugs and stuff, but then if they're doing that at a cost of you being able to function less as a human being, being able to walk less and squat less and do less, like being able to pick things up with a tougher time, you're going to rely on your skeletal system, and that's more impact for hernia and bones and joint problems, and maybe your doctor is only dealing with hearts, so that's not their concern. But
I know with Dr. McDougall, his big concern about too much protein was for people who had kidney disease.
That's been debunked so many times. I don't.
I'm not a doctor. I'm just a recipe developer.
Go look for some studies of how much protein will actually impact kidney disease and read the science yourself. You don't need to listen to any doctor. You need to go and read the studies. Okay?
Well, and Dr. McDougall does put the studies out and where to find them for free.
Great.
A lot of times it's in Russia. There's some studies that, no, they hold.
How old are those studies also? Because if they're older than 20 years, I would trash that stuff.
Yeah, I don't know. Again, that's not my expertise.
Yeah. Okay. I am happy to look into those. If anybody wants to also send me a message somewhere on social media and be like, hey, Dr. McDougall says this, or Dr. blah, blah, blah says this. Kidney disease, boo, don't eat protein. And send me the study. I am happy to read the study and make a video about it and either agree or disagree or, make points about it.
Fair enough.
So happy to take your part. It's going to be so much fun. Do that.
Okay. No, that sounds good. And that way you can cite studies and stuff like that.
That's why we can cite and we can have a constructive conversation rather than I think this and he thinks this and who is right. Well, who the hell knows?
Right. I don't know.
Right.
Because I've asked questions before and so that was the response that I had gotten. Mirren says, Katya, I was told many years ago that if you develop muscle but you have lots of fat on top, that you can't then lose the fat. Is that true? So if you're a fat person who is lifting weights and now you're a strong fat person, is that going to inhibit your fat loss?
Okay, let's think like in a very simplistic way. If you stop eating, what happens to you? You'll starve and die, right?
Right.
There's no question about that, right? Mm-hmm. If you stop eating, you lose tissue. Before you die, you get skinnier and skinnier, right? There's no question about that. And before you die, you're like a lot of a smaller person than you were before, right? So you're going to lose both fat and muscle. Or do you think you're just going to lose muscle and retain all the fat? No, your body's going to use everything that it has to feed itself before it perishes if you just starve yourself to death, right?
Right.
That's logical. So, no, that is not true. Whoever told you that, it is not true. When you diet, you lose both fat and muscle. When you strength train, when you're in calorie deficit from exercise, from other activity, from cardio, or from diet, you lose both fat and muscle. Those two processes happen in your body at the same time. You cannot only lose fat, you cannot only lose muscle. You always lose both.
Ah, okay.
It's just the proportion of each that you lose.
Okay.
So if you eat more protein, you're less likely to lose muscle because protein that you eat it's anabolic. And your body anabolizes it into muscle with an easier time rather than carbs and rather than fat. Carbs are like building sticking blocks for proteins, like mortar for bricks. You need carbs to deliver the proteins to your muscle. So that, like in a little boat. So that then your body can build protein blocks in muscle out of that. So if you don't have carbs, if you only eat too much protein and like no carbs, body has a tougher time building muscle too. So I would say equal proportions of carbs and protein are necessary to build muscle. Now, in terms of burning fat, you just need to be in calorie deficit and not eat that much fat. Because if you eat fat, first, it's 9 calories per gram.
Yeah.
You can overeat it very easily.
Yes.
Second, not that good for heart stuff, as you guys already know. And third is it doesn't get oxidized as easily as the carbs and the proteins. So your body is more likely to store it more easily as fat.
Okay.
But if you eat less calories than your body needs to burn to exist, you will lose both body fat and muscle depending on what you do. If you sit on the couch, let's think also logically. Who looks better? Who is healthier? A person who eats very little and does very little, or a person who is active, runs, lifts weights, but eats a lot? That's like a competitive athlete, right? Rather than just like a lazy person trying to lose weight without doing anything.
Right.
Who is going to be healthier in the long run? Who is going to be less healthy in the long run? You already know the answer.
Right. And there's in-betweens.
And there's in-betweens, and we are all in-betweens. But the point is, if you train less and if you eat less protein, you're going to have less muscle, and you're going to build less muscle, and you're going to lose more fat. If you train more and eat less fat and eat more protein, you're going to retain more muscle, look better, be healthier, feel stronger, have stronger bones.
Ali's youth in Asia said, is it true that fat people can gain a lot of muscle in the process of losing weight?
In the process of losing weight, I'm not sure. Fat people definitely can lose weight very quickly. If you're talking about like morbidly obese people, they can. So usually for like my people that I train, if they just want a lifestyle, like lose like 10 to 20 pounds, or if they're athletes and they're like, I am cutting weight for competition, regardless. Unless they're morbidly obese, I would say losing about 1% of their body weight per week is what I shoot for. Not more, because then you start losing muscle. I want for them to only shed fat. Fat is metabolically pointless tissue. It has no purpose outside of just storing energy for the times that you potentially, you're in the forest, like our hardware is old. Our software is kind of developed, but our hardware is for the old times, in case you don't collect something in the forest. But I forgot the question already.
That's okay. We've got
if you are a bigger person, you can lose more than 1% of your body weight in fat per week, probably up to 2.5%. But in terms of gaining muscle, maybe. If carrying all that fat just made you stronger, made your legs stronger, made your calves stronger, made your back stronger, now you lost the fat and you're like, damn, I don't have any of this excess weight. I can just put that weight on the barbell.
Right. If you're lifting as you're losing weight, then you would.
Yes. So I would say this. Beginners can be the exception in terms of in terms of being able to lose fat and gain muscle at the same time. if you have never lifted weights before, you can just enjoy this, we call it beginner gains period, when you're just like progressing like crazy. You're being able to do, you know, push-ups in a month and just to squat your body weight, and you're like, damn. But then in a year or in 2 years, you're like adding 10 kilos to barbell maybe, and it's
Right. Well, and it's kind
so
of
hard to progress.
It's also, I'm trying to think of how exactly to explain this, because it's like there's an end game. Like you may never be able to lift 7 cars, or you know what I mean, or like a whole building. And I know I'm giving these extreme examples that you would never want to try to do, but I think what happens, and this happens in every field too, as you get better, your room to grow to be the best is just smaller. Yeah. And it depends if you're focusing on, oh, I really want to keep adding 25 pounds every time.
I just want to lift more than before.
Yeah.
And not get injured.
And I think that those are really good goals. Same thing with like walking and stuff like that. Whole food plant-based. WFPB is whole food plant-based, is what that means. And so anyhow, we're talking about some of Dr. Greger. Dr. Greger does do things by studies. Again, I can't quote his studies either. And it's okay that we maybe have different opinions. And there could also be a thing, like this is how I've looked at this before too. When we're looking at a lot of the whole food plant-based doctors, they are not necessarily looking at athletes
They're not
like
looking
you.
at athletes at all. So,
and so it could be apples and oranges. So just realize too, and this is why I'm saying not to discount anything you're saying either, but like there are times where if you are not doing what Katcha does, that maybe you will choose something differently. And I always encourage everyone to follow whatever their doctor says, because I'm a recipe developer and I would never tell you what to eat anyhow.
Disclaimer, your doctor went paleo and you quit that doctor. Do not always follow what your doctor says. Use your brain too.
Well, I mean, if they have serious health issues. So some people have serious heart issues. So therefore, if
some of the doctors can be like, oh, don't stop eating meat.
Right.
So
well, I'm hoping, and we talk about this, I'm hoping that they have doctors that they like and they trust that they're working with on their whole food plant-based journey.
All doctors in Russia that I've seen, they think that I'm insane, that I stopped eating meat and dairy and all of that. So like all of them collectively, just they're like, yeah, I mean, you lift weights too, like you actually can. You can like walk, you know, just like you have energy. So listen to your doctors with a grain of salt.
Right. And so, Jeremy, do you know Jeremy? You know Jeremy. Jeremy's
at the Vegfest,
yeah, he's my friend. He goes, watch out for those toxic banana smoothies. He's just joking.
I don't get it. Are you joking about my green sludge?
Yes, he's joking. That's all. I know Jeremy. He's joking. He's a friend of mine.
I know Jeremy. That's funny.
Yeah, and Kitty Mommy's saying no. Dr. Greger and How Not to Age addresses excess protein consumption, plant sources included. But we're not going to have those fights here. I know that...
it's not a fight. We have already discovered that if you want to live the healthiest life and if you want to be a high-performing athlete, those are 2 different lives.
Yes.
So I'm not talking about how not to age. I am a competitive powerlifter, and I want to be as strong as I can. If I live 5 years less because of it, fuck it.
Right. And so she has a different idea than maybe what most of us do. And that's okay too. You still have studied a lot of different things. You know a lot about lifting weights, even for beginners. And that is why you're here. It's part of the reason why you're here. Give me a hug. I love my little Katcha puppy. She's like my little sister.
That's funny. The topic of the video is vegan in Russia. We haven't talked about that.
That's what I was getting ready to pivot to. I was like, let's hug it out and okay. So you've been in Russia for a couple of months. And so how many years have you lived here before that?
13.
13 years that you've been from Russia into the U.S.
Yeah.
Specifically into North Carolina, yeah?
Yeah, I came to Duke. I studied at Duke, and I worked in construction here, and then I quit that and started a strength coaching company, and started traveling a lot for Vegfests, and
doing lots of cool stuff.
Yeah, and got recruited on the Vegan Strong team, and came to meet you, and I'm here.
And for people who maybe weren't here in the beginning, do you want to just kind of redefine the Vegan Strong Team just a little
Yeah,
bit?
totally. So Plant Built Vegan Strong Team is one of the biggest, I think it's the biggest vegan competitive athletic team in the world. It's multi-country, I guess worldwide, international. I don't know.
I think
Yeah.
all three of those work.
Interdisciplinary, so we have bodybuilders, powerlifters, kettlebell sport, strongmen, CrossFit, Olympic weightlifters, maybe some other sport that I'm forgetting, but yeah, we have athletes from different disciplines, and they used to compete at different fit fests. Now we have been competing at the Mr. America festival that is going to be October 13th. So I do encourage you to follow me on Instagram to follow my journey when I'm there. I'm probably going to be publishing daily vlogs from that on my YouTube channel. Stories with all the athletes that are pretty much international celebrity athletes. We have France's strongest woman, Canada's strongest woman, the natural girl who just won the OCB bodybuilding cup. That is the most elite bodybuilding prize in the natural community that you can get. She is going to be competing.
Wow.
We have Danny Taylor and Giacomo Marchese. We have Nick Squires and Ryan Stills and Angelina Breva. We have an insane collection of very decorated athletes that are going to go and crush it at a non-vegan event.
How cool is that there's so many vegan athletes, and two, that you guys have a team where you get to be there and really support each other in the middle of maybe kind of a vegan desert.
Oh, we walk there like a gang. We wear our like vegan strong plant built hoodies, and we're just like, yeah. So
That's awesome.
It's fun because we like walk together and we're followed by photographers and videographers all the time, and yeah. And then there's like I made a documentary about it. I think every year. So if you go to Katya Gorbacheva YouTube channel and put in vegan strong plant built, you will find the last year's like what we did and how we did, and it's awesome. And we scare other people by how strong we are, and by how cool we are, and by how approachable we are, and by the fact that we don't eat meat and we're still being able to perform on the highest level and show them that plants have all the protein you need.
Which is pretty awesome. Anyhow, I think I'm also glad for you just that you guys kind of have each other just to be, because I know on your Instagram, sometimes I go on your Instagram and people are like, you can't gain muscle if you eat plants. And, you know, sometimes people will poke the bear. I know it's normal.
Never stopping rhetoric. But then people actually stopped saying that recently because we do so well. And they're like, yeah, you guys don't eat meat, but y'all eat steroids.
Oh, really? So they're just...
That's the biggest compliment an athlete can get, is like, you are doing so great, we think you're not natural. I love when people tell me that because I get pee tested at every competition that I do. I have proof that I'm natural.
Interesting.
And when people tell me, you are so damn strong, this is not possible, I'm like, damn, I feel accomplished.
Good.
Yeah.
As you should. Because it's just so neat that this whole thing is here, and it's such a nice supportive group where you guys get to come out and support each other.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah.
I love it.
And I met you when at the movies with Helene. I can't think of the movie.
Game Changers?
Yes, thank you.
Oh gosh, Game Changers.
Oh, what don't I know about that? I didn't
It's
know.
just a bunch of cherry picking.
Oh, see, I don't know.
I mean, it's a great vegan propaganda movie, don't get me wrong.
See, I have no
But
idea.
I hate when people cite it and be like, oh, there's a study that was there that proves that, like, if you go vegan, you can just do battle ropes for 3 times as long as before you were vegan. Like, no, are you stupid? Of course you cannot. Can you have a brain?
Well, I mean, it's kind of the same thing. Like sometimes on the other side of that is like people think, oh, I've gone whole food plant-based so I can never get a cold or flu or, you know, like.
Yeah, you don't start to fly when you go vegan. And that's kind of the mood of the movie, which, like, oh man, I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't want to get into it. It's been debunked many times.
It's okay.
And it is a great vegan propaganda movie.
I was only
went
saying
vegan.
that I met you there.
Yes.
That's what
Yes.
all I was going to say.
Yeah, sorry. I went vegan because of Forks Over Knives and What the Hell.
Yeah.
And I watched the Vegan Propagandas movie. They're also half wrong and cherry picked, but only half, which is great. So is Game Changers, which is great. And it's really popular and people talk about it. And people actually are willing to look up the studies to argue it. So in the process of trying to debunk a vegan movie,
You
or
learn a
vegan
lot.
study, they actually learn that, okay, maybe it debunks the claim that the movie claimed, but it's still not as bad as they thought, and maybe going with plant-based is still better. So I think that's a great thing.
Well, and I will agree with you there, because like, I rarely recommend movies.
Yes.
Just because anything that's kind of got any hint of animal abuse, I can't do personally.
Oh gosh, yeah, me neither, yeah.
So I think it's great for people who can. I respect animal rescuers and all of those people, and I donate to the causes, but I can't be a part of that. But I do agree. I saw a movie not that long ago that I thought was going to be a little more digestible. And and I think it would be hard. I think it would be hard if I was in that position too. You're really coming from that. I really want people to understand this, and people are dense, and you kind of have to knock them on the head with things sometimes. Not everybody, but I feel like us as a one big thing.
We're not one big thing, though.
Yeah.
We're different.
I do agree with that. But so with movies and stuff, I think it's great because it does get people to do the research to figure out some things, stuff like that. But I rarely would say, blah, blah, blah. Go watch this and your life will change. I would never say anything like that.
Yeah.
Although I think a lot of people see a movie and it makes them realize, oh, animals have feelings, or oh, meat is not good for my heart, or oh, so you get some of these big concepts, but certainly not every little concept.
I do like the comment a little bit higher.
Okay.
Yeah.
This
Have you
one?
come across Thomas Tadlock?
So Mirren is saying, have you ever come across Thomas Tadlock? He's a bodybuilder and trains the celebrities that need to muscle up in a certain time period. Oh, he's married to Dr. Brooke Goldner, whose smoothie protocol a lot of people are using right now.
Okay. I have not heard of this dude. I can look him up right now and tell you if I think he's natural. Because something tells me if he trains a lot of celebrities who need to muscle up in a short time period, I'm going to open your secret. Those celebrities are on all of the drugs that are available to the humanity, and the movie budgets definitely have the budget for that. They need to muscle up to Aquaman or whatever man. You can look up interviews of like what they do. They're never going to tell you about steroids and other performance-enhancing drugs. They're just not. But most of them are taking it, and most of the people who have stories that it's too good to be true, that they just got so strong or so jacked or so lean, most people say toned instead of lean, like have big muscle tone. In a short period of time, it probably isn't true. They probably did use some help, so yeah. Okay.
All right.
Thomas Tadlock. I'm so
Okay,
curious.
and so basically, she does Goodbye
Vegan
Lupus.
bodybuilding.
Goodbye Lupus. So as far as I know, my knowledge is of his wife, Dr. Brooke Goldner, who cured her lupus using a certain protocol. It's mostly very specific green smoothies, some raw foods. You can add some cooked foods in. I think they have a healing protocol versus a maintenance protocol.
What the hell is a healing protocol?
Don't ask me. It's not my program.
Okay.
And I'm not doing that program, though. I've watched some of her stuff. She has successfully treated her own lupus and has helped. I know some people in here are doing some of the protocol too, so I'm not sure.
Cool.
Oh, and Mona says fabulous information today. Yay.
Thank you.
Different kind of information than we.
I also do agree with EE, who says laziness is the symptom. Muscle loss is just an effect of not moving.
No, that's why I took it off and blocked her, actually. Because she's just, it's to somebody's specific comment.
Oh.
So it's not a general, it was to a very
specific response. I'm sorry.
That's okay. So no, that was rude, and being rude will get you removed. Shocker. This is a kind, happy community where we support each other, and I've blocked a few people today.
Damn.
I don't know what it is. Evidently,
having an athlete on the podcast that is willing to touch. What are those? topics called that not all people agree on?
Controversial?
Controversial topics, yes.
Yeah. No, it's not about, it actually has almost nothing to do with you. I think just some trolls have come in, honestly, because I never have any of this, even when we're talking about things that we don't all agree on.
Sam Sulek is great. I like Sam Sulek.
Okay.
Yeah.
And say, I
think he has the book Can't Hurt Me, right? Is that right? Yeah, he's just the badass dude who wrote a badass book. And
oh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Also,
yeah.
Beets are great. I think Jeremy was
a lot of
saying
people are talking about beets. And
Beets they boost like your nitrogen or something in your blood, and I think it's nitrogen that like breaks down. Do not quote me on this, but I think it does the same thing as like a lot of leafy greens. Is like break down cholesterol in your blood, and with more nitrogen, you're also being able to be more. Sorry, I'm babbling. You're able to be more effective in the gym, more blood to the muscles. So, yeah, beets are great. You should eat like a beet a day and add it in your smoothie and make it from green sludge, purple sludge, beet sludge.
And you can do a little bit of everything. And sorry, Brittany, that got said you can try to set up where only people who are subscribed can chat. This is not a normal thing. So at this point, I'm not going to stop people. I got my computer and I'll just be blocking people more soon. It seemed like she was asking general questions. So sorry about that. But anyhow, fruits and vegetables in general are good and happy. That's where I come from. I just try to take everything into the little packets
and
that my little brain.
Legumes.
Yeah.
And mushrooms.
Oh, I got some chanterelle mushrooms at the Costco.
I got some puffball mushrooms from across the street from where I live.
Did you? When we were out, we took a walk and she found puffball mushrooms, and
I cooked it.
Was it delicious?
Yes, it was delicious. I actually ate some raw and it was still delicious. It was just so good. But I found more. They pop up all the time because we have this insane rain.
And if you don't know mushrooms, don't just go picking mushrooms and eat them. She knows mushrooms. I think a lot of people who grow up in Russia, because of, again, kind of going full circle to when you have food shortages or different things like that, sometimes it does seem hard to, like literally if we were in a war right now and we could only have lemons are what we would eat. I just happen to have lemons over there. Or, like when you're in this survival state, it is very hard to think about eating vegan and thinking about all these other things.
Brittany's asking a good question.
Okay.
How do you
I'm going to let you do this, and I'm going to run to the restroom.
Okay,
great.
Take
a restroom break.
Kathy's gone. Let's talk about Kathy now. So, tell me. Okay. I will not be using her computer, and I will try to get the camera focused on me. Yay. What kind of mushrooms? Mona, I found puffball mushrooms. Those just pop up on the field of grass after rain. And they can be in like little groups, or they can just be like one huge mushroom that's like a tennis ball or even like a volleyball size. They can be huge, but they're white. And if they're starting to get dark or brown, then they're starting to spore and you shouldn't eat them. But if you cut it, it should be uniform and white, and you can't mistake it with anything. So I just pick up and eat it. Brittany asked a great question. How do you prevent protein deficiency on a whole foods plant-based diet? Can I click on it? Yes. Okay, I'm not going to do anything because I'll break this computer. And Kathy will be mad at me. Well, I would just track your macros. There's lots of apps for it. There's Chronometer, there is MyFitnessPal, Total Body Lab app. So my coaching app also has a nutrition tracking block. So you can just scan barcodes of things that you eat that you buy at the store, or you can plug in bell pepper, oatmeal, I don't know, pumpkin seeds, whatever, and how much you eat, and it calculates the amount of protein per meal, the amount of fiber, sodium, cholesterol, like all things you need to know, fat, vitamins. I think Chronometer is free. I think MyFitnessPal is free. My app is not free, but usually the nutrition block is just, it comes with the other coaching because I need to see what is the end of the day, protein, carbs, fats, fiber, cholesterol of the people that I coach. So I can give them tips. So how to prevent protein deficiency is eat enough protein per your goals. So if you lift a lot, you need a little more. If you're older, you need a little more. If you have certain genetics, like certain people tend to do better with higher fat diets. Certain people tend to do better with higher protein diets. Certain people from certain parts of the world tend to do better with higher carb diets. So it just depends on how you do with those. And the only way you can find out is you eat this way for like 8 weeks, and then you do your blood work, and you're like, okay, I feel great, or I don't feel great anymore. And yeah, that's how I figured I cannot do super high fat, but I can also not do super low fat, but I do need to do a relatively high protein diet to perform really well. I just figured that out by experimentation. So yeah.
Oh, awesome. And Mona was what kind of mushroom?
Puff ball. Google it. It's awesome. So
Yeah, it was like a big poof ball. It really was.
it's just a white little ball.
I don't think we eat neem. Neem is something I know of.
It's a spice they use in India.
The neem I know is an herb you use as an insecticide for natural pest protection that you would not eat. So it could be something
It's
that...
a toothpaste and soap, like from India.
Oh, maybe.
And they sell it as a supplement in Russia.
Oh, do they? Okay. It could be... Sometimes it's language differences too, right? So...
Your muscles are much bigger when you're in the middle of the screen. I think Katya uses a slimming filter that there's the screen. No way.
Mm-mm.
No way. I think I was just sitting closer to the screen.
Yeah, we're sitting back a little bit.
I can lean over and you can like, yeah, look like I'm ready to take all your
I think
money.
people are thinking that I pay a lot more attention to things like that than I do. I'm just here to present some information.
We don't really care about aesthetics that much. We want to be healthy. We want to present good information.
That's
we want
it.
to have a good community. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's go back and let's get into what we were going to talk about that I really loved when you were in Russia, because I wasn't sure when you were coming back. So it was delightful to get to spend some time with you while you're here. Oh, you said
You can eat neem.
Okay.
Unfortunately. Or you can chew on it for dental health.
Yeah,
and
it could be other neem things, and I just happen to know there is a neem insecticide, and that's all I know.
Yeah, there's a dosage limitation, so yeah, people ask about that a lot.
Yeah, she's saying, Ollie's saying you can use it as a pesticide, brush your teeth, oil your hair, drink it in water spout. I don't know nothing about it.
Ollie, why would you eat it? Because I've seen it sold as a supplement in Russia, and I don't know what it's for. If you eat it, just curious. Yeah, what is it good for? Very curious.
Yeah, I go ahead and put that in, Ollie, and we'll see about that. So what was really cool to me, and if you go to Katcha's YouTube channel, Katya Gorbacheva, just look that up, and
the vlogs.
Yeah, because you did all the travel stuff, so I got to go travel Russia. Which
I filmed how I flew from here to Russia. I went to Russian McDonald's. I went to the Russian grocery store. I went to my old high school. I walked around the city. I went to the beach.
I saw you go to the grocery store because I am the person, like, if there was a channel, like, I want to see international grocery stores, like, it was very cool.
I film more grocery stores because I went to the cheap one. I'll go to, like, the fancy, expensive one next time.
Like, when we went to Houston, Texas to visit some friends, we went to the Indian market, a Hispanic market, and a regular market. So I'm always, like...
Can you turn off my microphone for a second?
Yeah.
I need to blow my nose.
Okay.
Sorry. My nose is starting to stupid butter.
So, I think you can hear that.
Sorry.
I'm laughing. No, okay, I'm laughing at you because you do blow your nose loud, but do you know what I do loud? Sneeze. Cheryl is always like, always has this face like, because I sneeze 3 times and each time it's louder.
Oh, nice.
So that's what I'm laughing because I'm like, it's not just me. Okay.
Thanks.
There you go.
You do have nice lights. I do like your lights.
That's
Sorry.
awesome. No,
Sorry.
that's hilarious.
I wish I could do this on my legs because I really like how my quads look now. I'm not like an aesthetics person, but sometimes in the gym, the correct lighting, you just catch that like little quad drop, and you're like, oh, I also look good. I'm not just strong.
I always say you look like a goddess, but she doesn't believe me. But it's just true. It's just a fact.
Okay, so
You just proved your ADHD to us by your multiple drinks. We are a neuro spicy safe community, which is kind of awesome. So I guess the main question, because people travel to a lot of places, people aren't usually traveling to Russia. So we hear, like you said, you had trouble in France, in Paris, particular, eating some stuff. And I know that
I talked with my friend Angelina too.
Okay, does she?
France's strongest woman. We worked out together.
Oh, okay.
And I was like, where do you eat? And she's like, at Chinese restaurants or like Asian restaurants or at home. Because there's enough in grocery stores, but not in restaurants.
Interesting.
Unless you go to a vegan-specific restaurant, which we did go to, but it was a Monday, so it was closed. So we went to a Vietnamese place before. They put an egg in her ramen.
Oh, no.
And like, it was annoying.
Jeremy, where's my water? I'm almost to it. I haven't made it yet today. I'm drinking my morning
favorite
drink.
clothing designer, Ollie? Curious.
Okay.
That's really cool.
Ollie's saying Russia's cool. My favorite clothing designers from Russia. Well, and one of the things that I hadn't even thought about, like I think about sometimes Russia in different ways. Mm-hmm. I think of Russia as the sanctioned Russia, and then I think about Russia as in you're my friend who's from Russia, right?
Yeah, I like this last version.
And it is the same thing. So like when you were going, and like the way you had to come home was because of the sanctions.
Right.
Explain that.
I didn't film that. Or maybe I started filming that.
You filmed a little bit. You were tired.
I started filming a little bit, and I was going to film like the road back, but the road there took me 2 days. The road back took me 5 days. So I was like so out of it when I came, and if you watch my vlog from Yerevan, you can watch how I'm getting from my city on a bus to Moscow because my city's airport is closed because we're too close to the border. And so I had to bus to Moscow. I had a big gap just in case the bus is late, so I had to wait half a day, then get on a flight to Yerevan, Armenia, 20-hour layover, get to Paris 2.5 days later. I did hang out with a friend, but it was just when the cheapest flights were 2 days later. I hopped in bus to Reykjavik, 2 hours layover. I traveled to RDU. Sorry, not 2 hours, 20 hours layover.
Yeah.
Traveled to RDU.
Did you get to do something fun there too, or were you too tired by that point?
Yeah, I paid too much money to stay in a hostel and bus to a different city in a hostel because where the airport is, there's like nothing, nowhere to stay. So I had to bus an hour to from Keflavik to Reykjavik. Got sick walking around in icy wind because I didn't have winter clothing and it was like 5 degrees Celsius.
Oh my goodness.
Tried local gin.
Anything to warm up in a pinch.
That didn't help. It didn't help at all. There was no vegan food and I went back to the hostel and just made TVP with hot water and found some tea somebody left in the hostel and drank that. And still feeling sick, went to bed and and then bussed back to the airport and went home.
Well, we were glad to have you here.
Yeah, I'm glad to be back. I'm not glad at how annoying it is for just regular people to travel.
Right.
Because of what the politicians are doing.
And I think that's a good point, something to think about, because a lot of times you don't think about that. You think, "Ooh, country, slap its hand," and
Nobody thinks about that.
You don't think about how it affects individual people who are not part of that decision-making process.
Yeah, I think it's kind of like, oh, I don't want my kids to be in the dressing room when there's like an old guy that comes in that claims they're like the other gender. I don't want that. But then you're like, you have gay friends, you have trans friends, you have no problem with them. It's like not that you're gonna have girls and there's this old pedophile comes into the dressing room, and then that's why you want to like ban all this shit, is because you have gay friends and trans friends, and they're nothing like that, and that's what the thing is about. It's like most Russians are not about what our politicians are doing, and most Americans are not about what your politicians are doing either. But in the end, when we slap each other's hands, it just hurts regular people. And the politicians are rich and fine anyways, so.
Yeah. Well, I would say because I was married to a Russian a long time ago. And so what I learned, and I was a musician, so there's a lot of Russian musicians over here. So from that community, it always seemed, and this was probably back in the 90s, I think. It was a long time ago. And so from what I saw in their behaviors, it was more about gaming the system.
Yeah.
So like really, so
like still like that.
And so one of the things that Misha he was like going to grad school. He's like, they won't cheat with me. He goes, that's how we do it. That's how he did it in Russia. Was they would cheat on tests. They they would all get together, learn something, and then do the test. Yes. And it was just a very different way. Whereas here we're like, oh no, you didn't study. But it's not about the same thing. We Americans would be like, oh, you're just wanting to use what I did. No, they're all kind of going together to game the system. And you see the same thing in some of the jokes and different cultural things that I got to see being closer to people who were from there and experienced some real hardships there.
Because Russia is a collectivist country still, as a Soviet child country, right? Mm-hmm. And the United States is a very capitalist and individualistic country. We all are here. This is mine. This is not yours. This is my money. This is my patent. This is my house. I'll shoot you. Don't come close. And in Russia, it's like, if we do this together, maybe we can like cheat the system and like actually have something to eat today. So it's kind of like that.
It's very interesting too, and so I think because of that, I would think it would be maybe even harder being a Russian citizen, kind of being punished for something that you're already maybe not exactly against, but you're already kind of like trying to survive. You're trying to survive the government, and now because of the government, you have more hardships again, and that makes me sad.
Yeah, but now we also have hardships from other governments and our government. Yay.
Yeah. So that's hard, and I'm sorry it's going to take you so long to travel back. Are you going to be doing the same amount of jumping back? Do you know?
No, because I'm flying back with my dog.
Okay.
Yeah, so I'm driving to DC and then flying to Casablanca, and I had to book a hotel and a separate ticket so that because if I don't, if it's one ticket from Casablanca, from DC to Casablanca, Casablanca to Moscow, I've heard from people who did a trip through Casablanca into Moscow, they would not let the dog out, even if it's like a 12-hour layover. So she's on a flight for 7 hours, 12-hour layover, and 10 more hours, she's not let out because of safety reasons, and if it's like animal abuse, they don't care, it's cargo. So I had to book 2 different flights and then stay in a hotel, so we have to come to Morocco, get documents from Morocco to be able to enter with the dog, get a separate health certificate, that's $400, and get a health certificate to Russia, that's $400. And there is no guarantee from USDA APHIS that they are going to be certified in time. As I've been telling you just before the live, they just say, hey, send us the thing from your vet and pay the fee, and we'll try to send it to you as fast as we can. But there's actually no guarantee I'm going to get it before my flight, even though it's a required document. And they do require it within 3 days before the flight.
Okay.
My flight is on a Wednesday. 3 days before flight is a Sunday. The earliest I can do it is Friday. So if they certify it on Friday, it might be too late. If they certify it on Monday, it might not arrive here by UPS. So I'm just hoping for the best. And
fingers crossed.
I think I'm done having like anxiety thinking about this. It's just whatever it is will be kind of thing.
Well, I will be sending out that energy that everything happens the way it should. I know it's hard having things that are out of your control too. Because
it's
you
hard
can't.
Having a lot of those things at once.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so when you're traveling from here back home,
Yeah.
or even when you traveled from Russia back here, did you pack some food with you? How did you kind of
It's
plan?
not legal.
Oh, like even packaged food, no
I
food.
think if it's packaged, it's legal.
Okay.
I brought protein powder,
Okay.
my vitamins, my daily vitamins, some other supplements that I take. I brought my medication. They had to search my bag because I was honest entering the U.S. and saying I brought medication. They were like, I'm going to go search my bag. And I was like, God damn it, I'm so tired. I don't care if you search my bag. But yeah, so they picked me and this old couple, a lady, had an apple in her hand. And they were like, did you bring fruit or vegetables? And she's like, no. And they're like, that's an apple. Where's it from? So anyways.
Okay.
She already finished an apple and threw it out by the time they were searching us, so it was stupid. But they searched her bag, found some tea or chocolate or whatever, and they were like, not allowed. Hey, don't do this again. So I was like, wow, people are so nice and cool. Like in France, I got fined 60 euros for having my feet like this on a front seat in a subway.
Oh, wow.
It was a plastic seat, and my feet were like, my shoes were clean. And some dude comes in and points at my feet, and the lady comes in and she's like, ticket please. And I'm like, okay, you're checking tickets to the airport, that's great. And she's like, you want to pay by credit card? I'm like, why? I already paid. And she's like, this is not allowed. You're fined 110 euros if you want to pay later, 60 euros if you want to pay now. I'm like, I don't have the money. And she's like, then give me your passport and you'll have trouble leaving the country. And I'm like, I hate French people. French people suck. No vegan food and their dicks. So
Obviously, you didn't have a very good time in France.
no, I had a great time walking around Paris. But,
Yeah.
like, it's a pretty city. Architecture is mind-blowing. Really beautiful.
So going back, will you be able to bring anything with you, or will you do your protein powder again?
I am absolutely not bringing anything
Okay.
because I don't want to have any problems.
Okay.
Yeah.
So do you know, like as far as eating, since you're traveling for a couple days, and will you be able to bring food for your dog? How will that work?
I'll have to, yeah.
Okay. All right.
But I don't know how that will work. I don't know if they'll take it away.
Okay. Interesting. Yeah, oh no, because I haven't traveled. I've had cats sent to me from New York to Louisiana. That's as much animal traveling on a plane that I've ever done.
Yeah. But, like, I can buy vegan food there. It's not a problem. in
Okay.
Russia. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so you kind of have a plan. You know you'll be able to eat, just like you kind of knew.
Yes, I've been eating this whole summer.
I know. Well, no. I'm just trying. Like one of the things we talk about on my channel is preparing to travel and what you may or may not be able to take. So, like if you aren't able to take anything, do you then kind of look at the place that you're going to be and see if they're, try and learn about if there's going to be a vegan restaurant or a place that might have a vegan option? You just kind of wing it.
There's vegan restaurants in Moscow, but I'm not going to stop at any. I'm going to go to the airport and
No.
then go to transfer.
On the way from Moscow, from here to Moscow.
I'm going to be in Casablanca.
Okay, so are you?
There's a vegan restaurant in the city.
Okay, so you know
I'll
about.
have to cab $100 to the city, so I'm not doing that.
Okay.
So I don't know what I'll be eating, and neither do I really care for a day.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, to Casablanca, I'll probably bring like a packet of protein that's sealed, and I'll get fruit there. Or I'll get like a, I don't know, vegetable sandwich. It doesn't.
Like an open air.
It doesn't
there's
super
markets.
matter. I'm not planning on going absolutely anywhere in Casablanca. I'm literally going from the airport to the hotel that's 5 minutes from the airport, and whatever the food they have, if it's bread, I'll eat bread for a day. I do not care. All I care about is my dog being let into the country with no problems, and my dog being let into Russia with no problems. I'm probably gonna bring like, I don't know, dried fruit. I might bring TVP. I usually bring TVP when I travel.
Okay.
But TVP is usually I buy it in a big bag and it's not sealed. Right?
Right.
Yeah, food that's not sealed they don't like over the border. They always ask you, are you bringing any food? Have you been to an animal farm? Being afraid that you've potentially stepped into some microbes at a farm that had like
Right.
animal poop and stuff, and
Yeah.
oh my gosh, and then you have to go to the red channel for, do you have something to declare? Yes.
Okay.
You don't want to be that person that has something to declare, even though it's some opened package
I
of
wonder
whatever.
if there's some smaller TVP packages. I'll check for you. There's one place I'm wondering.
It's okay. I don't
But
know.
no, I like that. So when you take TVP with you, how are you using? Are you just putting some water on it? Or?
Yeah, it's super easy. Every hotel has a coffee maker. Mm-hmm. So I would do half oatmeal, half TVP. And I used to do protein as well. But I really hate protein within my oats anymore. I just drink protein like with water. So protein separately, just drink, and then to eat.
And by protein, you mean protein powder?
Correct, it's protein powder. Protein powder. Yes. But to eat is probably going to be TVP and oats. And I usually, if I was traveling by car, which I'm going to be traveling Mr. America soon and bringing some of my food for the road, I'm going to be having Ziploc bags with flax seeds, chia seeds, TVP, oatmeal, and maybe a little dried fruit, whatever the dried fruit I have in the house. And I might bring that to Morocco. Last time I came, they were not super strict. Yeah, I think I had like a chocolate bar on me.
Oh, that's awesome.
But Morocco has great vegetables.
Yeah.
And they have, what's the thing out of chickpeas?
Hummus,
fried.
falafel.
They have falafel.
Yeah.
They have good falafel.
Yeah, Middle Eastern food is usually pretty vegan friendly. We went to a Turkish restaurant in Orlando that was not vegan friendly. They had chicken broth in the rice, and they had dairy in the hummus and falafel. It was very weird. We had sautéed vegetables was our choice. Just a big plate of sautéed onions, peppers, and eggplant.
I love eggplant, but I don't want only eggplant without rice. Like,
yeah,
seriously?
Someone vetted it as being vegan friendly, and I was not happy. It wasn't a good trip either. But in general, I've never seen that happen. And I've been just to a lot of different Middle Eastern restaurants. So that sounds great. And I mean, another thing too is like if you're traveling, chances are there'll be a market or a store or something.
You'll have to go to the city though.
Oh, even out in the country, there's not just like...
I don't know Casablanca.
Okay.
Like at all. I've been there once on a layover. And all I did is I took a cab to see the most famous mosque. And I did walk around the city.
I saw that video.
There were no markets in the city.
Okay.
Which is weird because in Russia there always are, and I imagine Casablanca being kind of more like Turkey.
I imagine that too.
Like in New York City kind of thing. Like they just have that, but they didn't have that. They had more like hotels, restaurants, and most of them were not vegan friendly. I did find a vegan restaurant there, but I ended up not going. It was further away. But I went to a non-vegan one, and I had like avocado toast.
Okay.
And some kind of couscous something, and really great coffee with, they call it alternative milk.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, in Russia they're also like, alternative milk. It's fancy. Everybody drinks alternative milk in Russia.
Oh, is it?
But it's hard to find soy milk in Russia. Why?
Oh, I've been making...
They like banana milk, buckwheat milk, because Russia clearly
It's very buckwheat
heavy.
Katcha.
Yeah. Oat milk, wheat milk.
Oh, interesting. Wheat milk. I guess you could make...
I could be lying.
Could make it
barley milk or something.
Barley milk for sure.
Some kind of grain.
Barley.
Probably barley. Banana milk.
I tried some banana milk from the store a couple of years ago, and I was not a fan.
So in America, I'm not a fan. In Russia, I'm a fan.
Okay.
It's yummy.
Interesting.
It has no protein at all, but it's yummy. Yeah.
That's very interesting, because I've been making all my own milks. And I like making
When do you
soy
have
milk.
time?
No, it's a little machine. I put things in it, and then 20 minutes later it comes out, and I pour it into a thing, it strains. I make stuff with the okara, the pulp from soy milk. I have some in there, and so I make like a ricotta. You can make a cream cheese with it.
Somebody asked if you were going to feed me.
I was wondering if you were going to bring... Yes.
Yeah, I'm always down to eat. So
I'm sure I'll feed you something. I have some Korean food left over from...
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Yes.
You may have to wait while I make some extra rice.
Okay, fine. Macadamia nut milk is so good. Yes,
Yeah.
it's amazing. Morocco has good lamb dishes. I didn't mean to say that. No, you didn't.
Yeah.
Who cares about that?
Not us, not here. So...
Sorry, I have trouble reading the comment like in my head before pronouncing it, so I
think you guys know that Katcha's an out loud person. It's okay. Already there's been more cursing in this episode than all my episodes combined. I think everyone's
Is this
okay.
PG?
Usually it's PG, but I think you're okay.
Everybody here is 18 plus, yes?
Yes.
Why is it PG then? Life's short.
Well, we'll talk about that later.
I can teach y'all some Russian cuss words.
No. Don't get this banned on YouTube.
Don't
get this banned on YouTube. So let's talk about vegan food in Russia. So what's kind of interesting and weird about me personally is that I didn't know how to cook, and I learned how to cook in Molly Katzen's Moosewood cookbook, which was a vegetarian cookbook. So she has a lot of Slavic/Jewish recipes in there.
Nice.
So what's interesting is that I'm a basic white girl from North Carolina, and I know about kashi and kugels and borsch and all these things. So it's kind of ironic in a way. So like I remember the first time I made borsch was the first time I ever had it. Oh my, sweet and sour beeten cabbage soup. Yes, please.
Do you have it in one of your cookbooks? Because you're sure if you don't.
Yeah,
okay,
I have two recipes.
Okay. I have my grandmother's recipe on my website. Yes. So if you want, you should look it up. It's adapted for vegan. You should look it up. It's so good.
Yeah. Well, and someone's saying Jewish food is very high in fat. It depends on how you make it. I can make anything whole food, plant-based, no oil, and I do. In fact,
just like you can veganize anything.
Right. Yeah. Absolutely. But when you go and you look back at like vegetarian food from 1980s, it is super high fat. So like,
what do they eat?
What do we ate lots of eggs and cheese and sour cream, and like if you go and like there's even been a modern adaptation of it where there's less fat and stuff. So it's just vegetarian food was just pretty much without the meat. So it's kind of interesting.
Okay.
But so I find it odd because I'll be like, when I went to New York when I was married to Misha, and I found out about kosher dairy restaurants, which are awesome. I had all the best vegetarian soups I could hold with a little bagel, and it was just like, and I would talk to lots of little old people there, and I learned all kinds of cool stuff. So from that, I imagine certain kinds of foods you might have in Russia, which is probably some correct, some not correct at all, because it's also entrenched in 40 years ago, right? Is what I think of. So obviously, borsch, we've hit it on the head.
Yes. Salyanka.
Oh, is that the cabbage? The chilled cabbage soup? No. Okay, tell me what it is.
Okay, salyanka is it's usually a meat assortment.
I don't know this.
Sink meat assortment soup. But there's a really great assortment of like vegan kielbasas and sausages and like chickens and things like that. So you can throw all those in and put tofu on top, like the non-vegans do. They're like, oh, here's all the meat in one dish. Vegans can also do that. We can be like, oh, here's all the seitan and tofu in one dish. Boom, cook. Add the spices and like pickles.
Sauerkraut.
And sauerkraut, I am a terrible cook lately. I wrote a cookbook and then I cooked a lot first for my like clients and to make recipes, but then now I got so lazy. I almost don't cook at all, so don't ask me how something is cooked. Yes, meat assortment soup, not so great, but if you veganize it, it's a super high protein, cozy winter recipe.
So like what I would think about doing maybe is then like marinating the tofu in something. Actually, you could probably even marinate the tofu in maybe a little sauerkraut juice or something.
I tried it. I didn't like it.
Oh, you didn't like that? Okay, or you could do something. I have a bunch of different spices.
But I like to do garlic, like garlic on top of garlic tofu.
Okay.
Yeah, I marinate my tofu in garlic, ginger, and soy sauce. I like kind of Asian tofu marinades.
Yeah.
I tried Russian tofu marinades and they're kind of too basic for me. They're too plain.
What I would probably do, I would heat it up and put some caraway seeds, dill in there. And when that's heated up and make a little, like just a little bit of liquid so it would soak in, that would be good. Caraway is really a good way that I tend to add Russian flavors, or I say Slavic flavors to some stuff. But then like I have a Polish sausage spice, so I might mix that in with some crumbled tempeh and fry that up.
We don't have tempeh. Russia doesn't have tempeh.
Oh.
It's very sad. We have tofu. We have all kinds of tofu. No tempeh, and we do have seitan. We do have like
Can you
vegan
get
kebabs
chickpea
and
flour?
stuff. Yeah, you can get anything on the
Okay.
internet. Yeah, I got
Yeah.
wheat gluten, but I haven't made my own seitan yet.
Oh, we could do that together if you want. I have some. I can't eat it, but I can.
Why can't you eat it?
Because I have a gluten intolerance.
Oh shit! I'm sorry.
And what happens? It makes my joints swell. I keep trying to say, since I'm not celiac, I'm okay. But then I ate a bunch of wheat on vacation, and I could bend my fingers like this. So I was like, well, we don't need to be tested again for that. But seitan is really good.
Yeah.
Ollie's saying tempeh is bitter, but if you find tempeh bitter, you should steam it and then cook with it. Another thing you can do too, and you can probably get tempeh starter, which sounds really crazy. You can probably get it from Indonesia, where you are, in fact. Because if you can order anything, because I ordered some from Indonesia.
We order stuff from China, like
They would probably have it there, too.
Half of the Russian products right now are Chinese.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because the best way to start making, or not the best way, the easiest way to start making tempeh is get some cans of cooked black beans or cooked any beans,
Okay.
really. Black beans work well because they're firm and not too smushy. Mm-hmm. Because what you have, when you're making tempeh, like with soybeans or something else, you have to make sure the beans are done enough but not too smushy. Because if they're smushy, it won't grow around them. It inhibits that. But black beans, you drain them, rinse them. You toss them with a little apple cider vinegar, lay them out. They have to be really dry, and then you toss them with this mix and put them in a Ziploc. And then
But what if I want a soybean?
You can do that too.
I need to soak them, yeah?
Yeah. I encourage people to do this way first so you can see what the process is. And like if something doesn't happen, then you...
It's just black beans, yeah.
Right. And also then you have this, you're like, it's not going back to, oh, my beans weren't cooked right.
Yeah.
But like if you can get hulled soybeans, if not, then you have to soak them and you have to hull them. And it's a process. So I did both in a class. And literally one person said that they would ever make soy tofu. Everybody's like, I'll make black bean tofu all day. But
I want soy yogurt. If I made anything, I would rather make soy yogurt. We don't have vegan yogurts in Russia, like, at all. And I'm not in Moscow, FYI, so we don't have, like, all the capital fancy things.
Okay, so you're out in a smaller town? Or?
1.25 million. It's
Okay,
bigger than
I
anything
don't
in North
know.
Carolina. But it's still small enough that we don't have freaking yogurt. And we don't have soy milk in every store. I want my high-protein yogurt that tastes Eastern European.
Can
it's
you
not
use
sweet.
Can you use
It's like sour.
American plugs? Do you have a
No,
adapter?
I need to use an adapter, yeah.
But you can use an adapter.
Yeah.
I might have a soy milk maker if you want to take it back.
No, thank you.
Really?
I'm flying with 2 suitcases and a dog, Kathy.
All right, you
How
really
about you visit and you take that soy maker to me, and I will let you stay at my house and feed you the whole time.
that could happen.
Okay, great. No. But thank you. I actually am considering, I doubt this will happen, I'll probably take books instead, but I'm considering taking a Ninja blender and food processor. Because I love that thing, and I can't get that in Russia because we cannot buy a lot of like the Western products anymore.
Right.
And I think
There should be a Chinese similar.
There's Chinese similar, yes, but I want a Ninja. I love my Ninja. God damn it, I want my Ninja on my table, and I want to make the green sludge if I'm lazy to cook breakfast.
Okay, fair enough. No, fair
And
enough.
I want to make my seitan batter in it.
Yeah,
I want to make cookie batter in it. I want to make falafel mix. I don't know. I want to make the summer vodka watermelon punch.
Yeah, it's nice to have. And Mona's saying Nancy's brand used to make an unsweetened soy yogurt, and you can't find it anymore. I can't either. That was my favorite. Probably next year we're going to do some kind of yogurt making or a yogurt making class or something.
Yeah,
but
I need that.
Because I have a soy Bella. I know you can probably get a soy Bella over there, but we can talk about it. And if
I can get silken tofu.
well, then you can make faux yogurt. That's what people do. They'll
What's
take.
the difference between yogurt and faux yogurt if it's all faux yogurt anyways, if it doesn't have
No,
milk?
no. So what I'm calling faux yogurt is not fermented.
Okay.
Yogurt is always fermented. It could be fermented with milk or soy milk
Okay.
or something else. Now, like sometimes like there's almond yogurt. There's one person who knows how to make almond yogurt a certain way, but usually it's used thickeners and things like that. So it's more of like a cultured milk that's then had thickeners in it. A lot of people will take like silken tofu and some lemon juice. You could probably put a little lactic acid in there if you had that too.
I have that on my YouTube channel.
And you'll get something similar.
When it's not fermented. And it doesn't even have lactic acid.
Yeah.
It has soy milk, mashed tofu, silken tofu, stevia, and flax or chia seeds.
Yeah, there's a bunch of ways to make it, and soy yogurt will set up for sure. Like it has to do with how much fat you have. I have in it, so like when people are trying,
I have a lot.
not on you in your milk. So like almond milk is actually, even though almonds,
You make all the yogurt. It's gonna be tasty.
I could just see you with a little like.
Don't pinch me.
Oh, I wasn't going to. You
Okay,
said it, and now I want to. I was just thinking you put
I'll
a
pinch your
little.
back.
You put a little like needle, put your like fat into your yogurt. No, we're just kidding. We're just kidding. And all I use is chia to substitute eggs. I
Yeah,
use
me too.
flax a lot. Psyllium
I use flax and
husk.
chia mix, yeah.
Psyllium husk is great in baking. It makes it
Really?
very light.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's good to know. Okay. We have a lot of that in Russia.
Oh, that's great. For a long time, it wasn't so easy to find here. So yogurt is hard to find there. What about vegan cheeses? Is there like a vegan cheese?
Non-existent.
Okay.
I bought vegan Parmesan, which was okay. It was like soy Parmesan. That's the only one that I found at like a health food, very expensive, fancy store. There's no vegan ice cream. I mean, there's like frozen fruit juice with sugar that they call ice cream. It's not ice cream. I want my creamy cashew, whatever, coconut, delicious creamy, the one that kind of, you let it sit on the counter for 5 minutes, starting to get a little melty, with like caramel and chocolate drips in it. I want that. That's ice cream. This, like, just frozen icicle with food coloring and juice. It's not ice cream, and that's the only stuff that they have, and I'm pissed. I'm pissed at that.
Yeah.
They have alternatives in Moscow, in St. Petersburg. St. Petersburg is very vegan. I was there 3 years ago. I ate at like a new vegan restaurant every day.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. My city, Voronezh, does not have any vegan restaurants, which is insane for a big city.
Maybe you'll change.
Do not do that to me. I want to, but I'm a coach. I first am gonna, set up and start hopefully getting some clients in Russia to make some money in Russia, and then maybe I'll think about your offer.
Okay. Do they have food trucks?
Only if I have an American partner who's an experienced recipe maker. We do have food trucks.
Okay. I will give you recipes. I will give you full use of my recipes.
God damn it.
Just you. Not everybody. But Katcha
That
would.
makes it tough.
Well, some of the things would be easy.
How can I say no now?
Yeah, think about it. It's a future investment.
Future.
Mona says, sign me up for that class. Yeah, I know everybody's been talking about yogurt, and especially people making soy milk, and so we're going to talk about it. I need to do like 7,000 experiments to make sure it's foolproof, is what really has to happen. That's why it's going to be next year.
Yeah.
Yogurt is hard. Most, if not all, of the store-bought vegan cheeses here have a lot of oil, a lot of coconut oil, palm oil, things that whole food plant-based people are avoiding. Mm-hmm. I make some cheese at home, and I'd be happy to share that recipe with you.
Yeah, please.
It does use lactic acid, which you could get around.
Is it vegan?
Vegan lactic acid. It's made from beets.
Oh.
I don't know if I have the.
I thought lactic acid is something that's like lactose. Lactic milk, something.
This is, I don't know that I have the thing, but if you want to taste it, it tastes just a little bit like citric acid. Get you just a little.
Kathy's giving
Here.
me acid on the internet.
Here.
Live on the internet. Here, I'm gonna be tripping balls.
It tastes like sweet and sour. It just tastes like.
Why?
See, I just did the same thing. It doesn't bother me. Evidently, you're not a sour person. So what it does is it doesn't even taste like that in it. I'm sorry, Katcha. I've never had anyone have that stronger reaction. Do you not eat sweet tarts or in your?
Sweet tarts. Are they sweet or are they tart?
They're both.
What are they? I guess
It's like little kids' candy.
Is this nasty thing in like a bright stick that kids
Yeah,
eat?
kind of.
No, I don't. I
Okay.
eat fruit.
Yeah, so citric acid is, well, lactic acid, what it's used for in my vegan cheese is actually, once you put it in, it gives it a taste of being fermented without having the time of fermentation. So it's basically like,
It's a hack.
yeah, it's a shortcut. So I can make vegan cheese, make it in a block in a couple hours. From like 1 or 2 hours.
Okay.
Depending on how cold it is, it'll set up immediately. It has tapioca starch. It has some carrageenan, which is what makes it sliceable.
Carrageenan, yeah, I've heard that. You know what? I want one of your cheese recipes, and I want to translate it for my Russian community.
Oh,
'Cause
absolutely.
people cannot find it, and that's a big reason why I started like a Telegram channel for Russian speakers. And I just post what I eat, what I cook, or like what I buy where. So it's not super applicable for America, and it's in Russian. But those people want to eat cheese.
Well, and here's the thing. So one of
That's
the,
what's holding them back.
yes. So if you guys go to healthyslowcooking.com, I called it American cheese because I made it for a grilled cheese sandwich. It's kind of like mild cheddar American. It's whatever you want it to be. There's a pepper jack. One of them I made with cashews. Another one I made with oats, rolled oats.
Oh.
Neither one of them have any additional added fat to them. Some people have used things like tapioca, well, no, not tapioca starch. I'm trying to remember what they used instead of carrageenan. Some people have feelings about carrageenan or maybe have some stomach issues. But the carrageenan makes it sliceable. So if you don't have the carrageenan, you can still make this cheese sauce and use it on mac and cheese. You can spread it on toast. You can,
Can I use agar-agar in it?
That's it. Thank you. Okay. Yes, yes. And it just may be similar.
Agar, you Americans.
Yes, that's.
Agar.
You're cracking me up today, which is good. I was having a hard day. Katcha's making me happy. Yeah, so you could probably use that. We might have to experiment to see exactly what the one-to-one. Okay. So, because what happens is the tapioca, you make a blend just like you would for, and I have videos on these in my channel too. So maybe I'd have oats and water and nutritional yeast, some other stuffs, salt or salt substitute depending on your own personal diet. You blend it up together, then you add in some tapioca and carrageenan, then you cook it. When you cook it, the tapioca thickens up. Then also what happens, then you pour it into a little container and it literally just plops out. Sometimes 10 minutes in, it'll plop out. You can slice it, bless you. Oh, Fergus was scared.
I'm sorry, baby.
Hey, sweetie. Fergus is over here hanging out.
Yeah, that's why I wasn't looking at the camera.
So what's kind of cool about that is then you can slice the cheese and stuff like that. Let me see if I can.
Pull up a recipe?
Yeah, I'll pull up a recipe at least, and then I'll bring you guys in.
Come here, baby.
You can pick up the kitty.
I can pick him up?
If he'll let you.
I don't know.
Do you want to?
He wants to be pet. No, he says bye.
He'll come back. He usually likes to.
Can you turn off my microphone?
You gotta blow your nose again. Okay. All right. No, that's okay. I'm gonna put this here. We're on my site, healthyslowcooking.com. I'm gonna look up some cheese and I'll show you guys what I'm talking about because it's easier to see than me to explain this, if at all possible. Like here, this is a really great one. And I'll let Katcha. So this one doesn't have any oil added. I'm pretty sure. And so if you come here, then at the top too, you can always just go straight to the recipe. I know a lot of people have feelings about that. But Katcha, I want you to see this picture.
Wait, have feelings about what?
Not scrolling. But see, that's what it looks like.
Ugh.
This
right?
looks like cheese to me.
Yeah, it's really pretty good. I can't remember if I have.
Pretty cheesy.
Yeah, I think that may be.
Your blog is beautiful.
Oh, thank you.
Your pictures.
People complain about ads.
People are gonna complain. That's
So-
people. That says nothing about you.
So you could have clicked the button and come right down here. And so I do have links to where you can get kappa carrageenan and tapioca starch and vegan lactic acid, should you want to, and you're like, where do I get it? But it's like, this one is just chickpeas. So it's chickpeas, tapioca starch, carrageenan, nutritional yeast salt, lactic acid, onion powder, garlic powder, smoked paprika, ground turmeric, and mustard powder. And you blend everything together, you cook it a little bit, you put it in the thing, and then you pop it out. It's easy peasy. Let me see if I can find, I have some other cheese recipes here too, like actually, some are nut-free, some are not. This is nut-free. This pub cheese is really, really good.
I only have one cheese recipe, and it's like a it's a cheese dip because I don't know how to, consolidate my stuff, but it's really good too.
This is a lot like Miyoko's pub cheese, and it does have a lot of cashews in it. To me, this is more of a holiday kind of dish because of that. But let's see what else we've got. Oh,
pull up mine. I'm curious what mine has because I don't remember anymore.
Okay, let me go do that. I want to show you this one more, and then we'll do it.
Mine is oil-free too.
And this is my nut-free oat vegan queso.
Yeah, I think mine is like oil-free queso.
I have a lot of quesos, but like this one, it looks really
easy.
good.
They're just easy.
And so this is just rolled oat. This is the cheapest queso you can make. Rolled oats, nutritional yeast, cornstarch. If you don't like cornstarch, you could use arrowroot, garlic powder, salt. I use a little jalapeno powder, onion powder, lactic acid, dry mustard. If you don't have lactic acid, you could just put like a quarter to a half a teaspoon of apple cider vinegar or vinegar of your choice.
This is so easy.
Oh yeah, no, that's my thing. So here, type in the
yeah,
and get us to the recipes. Let me move this over.
We have the pierogi, but you can click on the first link.
This one?
Yeah. Yeah, and we'll be able to get to the cheese from here. So you can see my recipe writing skills are not like Kathy's.
Well, that's...
This is just a pierogi, so you stuff it, your seitan with things, and this is a pierogi.
Oh, so you're using the seitan for the outside of the pierogi.
Correct, but because I want to make it high protein and veganized.
And it's often like Russian pierogi versus Polish pierogi. Polish pierogi is like a dumpling. Russian pierogi or pierogi is what I've heard it called, is more of like a filled dough empanada.
Yeah, they're kind of like empanada. So I made the dough more like empanada pierogi style from seitan, but it's still high protein, and you can put your like vegan meat inside. So it's insane. There's a search in here. See if I can type in search.
Okay.
Yeah. Cheese. Find me my cheese. Yeah, cheese sauce. There it is.
Awesome. And there's as many ways to make cheese sauce as there are people.
So let's see.
Oh, you're using golden beets to make yours a little colored.
I cannot get enough of golden beets in my cheeses. It's such a hack. Carrots, fine. Potatoes, fine. Oats, fine. Golden beets, roast them. It's just another flavor kick. It's like an insane trick. So you can also use cashews or make it nut-free if you want, but it's oil-free.
Right, that's great. And one of the things that I often do, so some people are allergic to nuts.
Right.
And that's why I started developing a lot of things with oats.
Yes.
And I think that's great. So that's on totalbodylab.com. Yeah. And you can just go up in the top just like we did
and
search cheese sauce.
Or borscht or whatever.
Here,
so yeah, I like to put miso in here.
And that's
because
another
I didn't
way.
know about the lactic acid hack and about like how to make it more cheesy. So I would just put miso and lemon.
Lemon works really good.
Because
Miso.
I didn't know.
There's also, if you're at the Asian market, you can get fermented tofu and their chow cheese. If you've ever had that, one of the reasons it tastes more developed
is because of that.
Yes, because it's a fermentation. So like another thing you could do too. If you can't get vegan lactic acid, if you can't, maybe you're in Russia, you're going to have vinegar. But let's say you weren't. You could use some sauerkraut juice too, and that would add that fermented depth of flavor into there. But so a lot of times I'll use rolled oats, and so you guys can't see, but like I'm working on my potions and powders book, and all of those mixes are made with oats. There's like 8 different mixtures. I've got like a Parmesan, a gravy, a white mix.
What are those?
What?
Potions and
powders?
What's that?
Like mix it. Oh, that's going to be my next book is potions and powders. Or what are they?
What are we sprinkling?
Spice blends.
Okay.
Dry mixes.
Uh-huh.
And actually, I'm not long enough to reach across here. But I am long enough. Can you reach those?
Yes, I could reach those too, you know. But I can
Come
also
on,
just
here,
sit here.
Move those.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Say please.
Please. Now I'm going to pinch you.
Ow!
So like, when we're talking about things, and this would be kind of nice if in Russia you can't get some of these things, and I'll give you the book when it's done.
Okay.
It'll be coming. So like, this is a dry beefy bouillon. So if you can't get, and smell kind of away because you're probably going to sneeze because I shook it up.
Don't make me taste it if it tastes sour.
It doesn't taste sour. So it's like a beef bouillon.
I'm not gonna sneeze.
So it's got like mushrooms, ancho chilies, different things that make it feel darker. Versus, I won't shake this one. You can kind of smell in here. This is where the bouillon was.
There might be some people from Russia watching us, by the way. I posted a link to this podcast
Okay.
to my Russian channel.
Awesome. And then
They might.
this is golden gravy, and the only difference between the golden gravy really and my chicken bouillon that's dry is a little bit of oats, and it makes the best.
I like that.
Oh,
What is this?
it's the best. It's
So
all,
what's
these
in it?
recipes are also
it smells
on.
like eggs. It smells like just egg. It smells like chickpea, just egg.
It has none of that in there. But it has a nutritional yeast, it has oats, it has a mix of spices.
Why do you add oats to your spice mix?
This isn't a spice mix, this is a gravy mix. So what happens is
I don't like gravy.
by having gravy in here, so the oats are a natural thickener.
Right.
So as I add water and do this, it thickens up into a gravy. You can also add this as bouillon into soups and stews, and it helps thicken that up as well. So if you're making vegan chicken soup with tofu and some pasta and some veggies, you could add some of that in and just whisk it and pull it up to a boil, and it'll thicken really well. This is my oat Parmesan. And so it's a nut-free Parmesan.
Interesting.
I mean, you want to taste? Are you scared now? It's not scary.
I'll try it when it's already Parmesan. I'm not gonna.
And then this is a thick one. No, it is Parmesan. I would just sprinkle it on right now. That one's.
That's my favorite.
Okay.
What's that?
I think that's also oat Parmesan. It's just a different blend.
Okay.
And then like this is my cheese powder. So I use it for mac and cheese or making any kind of cheesy sauce.
I like that. That's really good.
Right? And so while you wouldn't travel, you can make these very easily as long as you can get nutritional yeast.
To the airport and they're like, what is this
abundance
of powder in jars?
Once you're in Russia, and this is golden gravy
At
too.
least they're not white.
Oh, and I'm making a brown gravy.
Ew. Sorry, I don't like gravy.
This
smells like soup. Why can't we just make soup? Why do we
you
have to make gravy?
You can make soup instead of gravy.
Because what is gravy? Gravy is just leftover freaking oil that you used to cook your meat in that you add flour to and whisk it, and it's the most disgusting thing.
That's your kind of gravy. My kind of gravy is different.
Okay, that's what I thought gravies are in the South, no?
Well, that's what people who eat meat, their gravies might be. I make my gravies with no oil or anything. So literally, my golden gravy or this gravy.
So gravy is just like white sauce? What is your gravy then?
I
Can you describe it without making an association for oil or animal fat or anything like that?
Sure.
Describe it?
3 kinds of gravy.
Okay.
So there are 3 kinds of gravy in the South.
Okay.
There's white gravy,
Okay.
which you serve on biscuits, typically like a sausage gravy. So what I often will do is if I have made some sausage patties, I've got a great potato bean sausage. I'll cook those and I'll crumble it up on top. So it's just like a milk gravy with black peppers, mostly black pepper. And so any of these mixes that I have a white gravy mix that's not right here. We're pretending it's right there. And so I toast the oats a little bit, gives it this really nice warm flavor, nutty almost. Then I'll add some non-dairy milk. In general, if I want it to be a milky gravy, a white gravy, always a milky gravy. So I'd add cashew milk, soy milk, whatever milk I've got. Well,
Ollie's got me.
Ollie, I disagree wholeheartedly. So there you go.
That comment?
No.
Okay.
No.
Ollie's not a fan of white gravy.
And that's fine. But in this community, we don't tell other people what's bad or good. We make our own choices and we don't tell other people. So it's okay that you don't want to eat gravy.
Right.
But I'm still going to eat gravy.
Right.
Same thing, vice versa.
I might have been different opinion about gravy if I haven't been traumatized with the disgusting gravies in the South in the first place.
So what happens is we'll make biscuits and we put white gravy, a savory white gravy over it, and sausage. So that's one kind.
Okay.
So then there's this golden gravy mix. So growing up, it's the non-milky gravy that goes over a chicken patty in school cafeterias.
Okay.
Right? So you can either go either way. So a lot of times I'll make soy curls or I'll make southern fried soy curls.
Okay.
I'll make some mashed potatoes. And then
needs something on
and then
top,
it needs something a little wet, and it has that, and like you smelled, it has like more of a nutritional yeast chickeny stuff like that.
Yeah.
So, and then brown gravy is something Cheryl loves. I'm not a huge brown gravy person, but like if you had grown up eating meat and you had a roast beef over bread, they would have a brown gravy on it. So I could make a seitan over for her to have this memory.
I gotcha.
And then I would use water. So it should be a little brown. I might add a little more soy sauce. Actually, what I bought recently is some dried soy sauce and some dried miso, though you could do that at home in your dehydrator because the color isn't going to be quite right. But you could also just put a little soy sauce in there.
You are so particular with your gravies. In Russia, we mainly use sauces that are made out of onions, garlics, fruits, tomatoes, and bell peppers. So I don't know why. Maybe because meat was expensive, and they were not super like making gravies out of anything. They were just cooking their meat and boiling it into the broth, and God forbid there's any meat in the sides.
But the broth you would use for soup. And so here, the leftovers would be put into a sauce. So that's how you had it before. So
because I don't think Americans eat a lot of broth. Russians eat a lot of broth.
Yeah, not the same amount.
Broth.
But like in Louisiana, people make gumbo out of whatever's left over. So I have a mushroom gumbo that's really good. So it depends on what area you're in. So for me, I like this cookbook is all spice blends, dry mixes, and sauces. So that's why I have all these around. I'm getting ready to take some pictures. But these are things that, let's say you're in Russia and you're like, I can't. As long as you can find nutritional yeast and oats, you can make a lot of these convenience foods that now cost $4 a packet instead of like, this is oats and mushrooms. And I dry my own mushrooms, which you in Russia would do for sure. But like when I go to the Asian market and I get the shiitakes, they have very long stems. I pull the stems off. There's nothing wrong with eating them and putting them in your food. But this is how I look at it. So I went to the Asian market, so it's probably a third of the price than if I had gone to a regular grocery store to get shiitakes.
Asian markets are amazing.
And now I have this cup or two of stems that I dehydrate, and actually I have some behind me that I ground into powder, and that's these, because I think this was from like
got some mushrooms here for
yeah, of course those shiitakes.
Yeah, and it's just the stems, and again,
take some home and watch a movie later. Yeah,
they're not that kind. They're shiitake mushrooms. And then another thing I'm going to do, because some people won't want to do that, these were dried mushrooms I got in the Chinese market. I've dehydrated them a little extra. They probably have gotten a little bit wetter because of the rain. I'll probably need to dehydrate them again to make it so I can put it in the spice grinder. But I think these were like $6, and it might make what you would probably spend $12 to $14 to buy as a powder already. And I have a spice grinder attachment for my Ninja, so it's a little bit more powerful. But you can do it in a small blender.
Than the lactic acid. I'll tell you that.
And a tip that my friend Ra Chef Yen told me too is when you're looking at the dried mushrooms, the ones that look like they're scarred or have a design on top, those have more flavor.
Oh,
So
yeah,
there's
I know
two-
there's a Asian market. Yeah,
There's
yeah, yeah.
two different kinds, and they both say shiitake, which is also like when they say Asian green vegetable, and there's like 17 of them. I'm like, this is not helping me.
My thing is falling off.
Oh,
I'm sorry.
okay. It's okay. She means her little wind ball.
I do have to go soon because.
Okay, then let's get, yeah, I was expecting this to be quite this long, but we covered a lot of things.
Yeah. And Ollie, I agree with you on the gravies.
You know, everybody gets to have the feelings they have. And Brittany says, what can be used instead of oats if you can't have your oats in your diet? I'm using, you could have used cashew powder.
Lentils?
You might be able,
Barley?
in these recipes in particular, it needs to be something that's going to thicken when cooked a little bit.
Millet?
Millet flour might work.
Carrots?
Carrots won't work because it's dry. You'd have to have dehydrated.
White beans? Chickpeas?
Well, you can certainly make those. I can make a gravy out of anything, but if I want to make a dry mix, then I'm going to start with something a little bit different. So like if you look like Well Your World has a lot of mixes and a cheese powder, and like this cheese powder is stupid cheap. It's really stupid cheap. And it lasts, as long as it's dry and in an airtight container, it's going to last for months and months and months. So if you went home and you were like, oh, I wish I had some cheese sauce for those beautiful vegetables I just bought, then literally you toast it in 10 minutes, you've got a cheese sauce.
That's amazing.
From whatever milk, but you could even make it without milk and just water in a pinch. It wouldn't be as rich and as luscious, but you could drop a teaspoon of cashew butter in there or something like that, or cashew cream. I don't know, because honestly these are tested after they're cooked, so you probably could try it. I'm just not sure what the amounts would be. So if you can't have oats, most people aren't eating oats because of gluten-free reasons. If you get gluten-free labeled oats, you should be okay, but you can try that. Do you have anybody have any last-minute questions for Katcha before she goes? What's your favorite Russian vegan food? Is there any
Borsch. Borsch is usually accidentally vegan if they just make it cheap, so they make it without the beef or beef broth, and borsch is amazing. I like pilaf. Pilaf is a Middle Eastern food, but Russians love it. You can veganize it by just not putting meat in there and putting seitan or whatever the vegan sausage of your preference, or tofu, or nothing.
mushrooms. Mushrooms are great.
Mushrooms have no protein,
But they're
and I
great
need
meat.
protein
They're
like
great meat
this.
substitutes as far as flavor. They really bring, like
Yeah,
in a
but
borscht.
I treat my meals as like macros, not as flavor. So if I don't have enough protein, I have to drink a stupid green sludge shake with it, or a stupid chocolate sludge. And I want to chew my food. I want to eat my food. I don't want to and I eat like 160 grams of protein a day. So
Yeah.
I'd rather.
But you can add mushrooms and your protein stuff too. The protein would, the mushrooms would just make it taste better.
Yeah, I've never seen pilaf with mushrooms, but that sounds tasty.
Oh, I make so many things. I did a whole mushroom class where we made taco filling with mushrooms. We made a creamy mushroom. Like I love Hungarian mushroom soup.
Nice. Tzatziki. I like tzatziki. It's Greek, but in Russia we really love tzatziki sauce, and I have tzatziki sauce that's oil-free. I don't know, everything free on my website that you can look.
Oh, I like that.
Yeah, it's really yummy. My clients enjoy it when they can't put like fatty sauces. I guess instead of gravy, I eat that. It's like sour cream tasting.
There's no fat in my gravies.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the whole thing. All the mixes that I do are whole food, plant-based, no oil with SOS options, no sugar, oil, or salt options even for people.
No sofas?
Yeah, so you can actually, so the thing is what I love, and doing spice blends too, I love to make them with no salt. And that way I can add as much mix as I want till I get that flavor, then add the amount of salt, because I'm not salt free. So I do, and with spice blends too, that's why I've always made all my spice blends salt free, because if it's not strong enough, you want to add more and then you can't because of salt. Ollie was saying, what is,
Oh, Apple's here. I remember Apple.
Hey, Miss Apple says, holy smoke, coming up on 3 hours. I know, old-timey telemarathons. It's been kind of like that. It's because I didn't get to see Katcha for so long.
I know.
So my favorite spice, I have two favorites. Well, I have more than two favorites, but my favorite savory spice is going to be smoked paprika, though I love me some Mexican oregano and marjoram. So those come in second and third. And that's because I love adding those smoky dimensions.
Yeah.
And that really helps brighten up these flavors.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite sweet or not super savory spice is cardamom. Cardamom is just beautiful.
I love
cardamom.
It's
beautiful.
Cinnamon. I like cinnamon. I like cardamom. Savory. Blue marjoram. Yeah.
Oh, I like marjoram.
Thyme.
Thyme is good too. I've got a bunch growing outside. I can send you home with some herbs if you want. You want some basil fresh? No, not to Russia, to your house today.
Maybe. I do have to go though.
Okay. All right. So what's your favorite day?
Leg day, pull day. I don't have pull day. I'm a powerlifter. I do squat, bench, and deadlift. And lately, my favorite day is deadlift. But I usually combine it with bench. I do bench and squats, bench and deads, bench and squats, bench and deads. You can follow me on Instagram. It's just my last name and letter E at the end. You're going to see my last deadlift, which was 205 kilograms. And I'm so proud of it. I did it for 2. That's like 450 pounds.
You did it for 2? What is
2 reps?
2 reps. Okay.
Double. Did it twice.
Okay.
Yes,
I'm like 2 days. Thank you for. I'm like, I don't know your language.
worries.
I don't know your fancy language.
Lifting
Okay. Do you have anything you want to say to
I
everybody
just want to
before
thank everybody for hanging in here with us and watching me make fun of Kathy and swearing too much.
Yes.
Sorry.
Sorry about that. It's going to stay in. We're not going to delete it. So there you go. Oh, and Ollie says, thanks, Katya. This has been wonderful. You guys are awesome. And just remember, today, all I'm asking you to do is do one kind thing for yourself.
Oh.
And then if you have a little extra energy, do something kind for someone else. If it's not much energy,
Just work out.
petting a dog even counts. Taking a walk counts.